Good morning. And welcome to season number 3, episode number 12 of Good Morning Corning. I'm your host, Andy Earls, alongside the Old Man Radio.
Old Man Radio.
Rich Martin, don't have your suspenders on, the overalls. What's up with that?
Too hot for overalls.
You know, I blame you. We've had a lot of issues this morning. I actually blame Rich. And the reason why is because he always has his overalls on. That threw us off, bad juju. And you got to stick with it, man.
I don't wear overalls till October.
Coach Shelton knows about these superstition stuff. You got to stick with that, and that's who I'm blaming on. Not me, not the owner here that's in charge of this stuff, but I'm throwing it off him. Now, hey, real quick before we get to Coach Shelton, big thank you to Lisa Bass, the Oaks of Indiana. This is our venue today, wedding venue here in downtown Corning, Arkansas. Big thank you to her for allowing us to be here. We're going to start doing that a little differently. Instead of doing the radio station, we'll go to different businesses in town, set up there, kind of give them an opportunity to speak about their business as well. So.
Is Gigi's on the list?
It is. Gigi's on the list. There's several places, so we'll have to do a lot of these. So we may start interviewing each other. We're not interviewing. I don't know. We'll figure it out, though. Without further ado, because we are late due to me, not Rich. I give him a hard time. Let's get it out to Coach Shelton. Coach, first of all, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. You're always good with us, man. Anytime we need something, you're here to help out, so appreciate that. How are you doing, man?
Doing well, busy, a little tired.
A little tired?
No, I'm like a whole lot tired, but busy.
A whole lot tired. We'll get into what we've done in the off season, what you expect obviously for the upcoming season. But first, I want to know. Tell me about this fundraiser, man. Tell me about how the golf tournament went.
Oh, it was outstanding. I think we had 38 teams play, a full day of golf, and we did very well. And of course, it's not shocking that the public came out and supported the kids. All the money is going back to the kids. So the guys I coach with, Trevor Poe, Kyle George, Trevor Rogers, did a great job. And we had been working on it for a couple months, so it all came together. And I think the biggest blessing was the weather. We had a day of, I think, the high of 83, so it made golf pretty nice. I don't play golf except once a year, but I was able to enjoy it. It wasn't 103 and humid like it was a couple years ago.
What'd you shoot?
I was just going to say, that sounds like coach talk from not very good.
Yeah.
No. Our team had fun. That's
I like that. I like that. That's good. Well, man, I think that was awesome. It sounds like the turnout was phenomenal. Obviously, the community always tries to back, of course, the kids, athletic programs. So that's really, really neat. Love to hear that. Love to see that. Okay, take me through this off season. What you guys have been doing from getting ready for obviously the season, and then there's some weightlifting stuff going on that I haven't heard a lot of praise on Coach Shelton for. A lot of kids coming out weightlifting, and not just football. Tell us a little bit about that too.
Well, from our program, the one thing I've pushed for 35 years now is that kids play multiple sports. There's no study, there's nothing out there that shows that if someone focuses on one sport, it makes them any better. And in fact, if you look at college, if you're thinking about going to second level, college coaches want kids who are athletes. They want kids who have a higher ceiling than what they are. So, from where we ended last November, we pushed our kids to play, run, do something, stay active. And I think that's the biggest part of it, is to stay active, be involved in a team. Even if you're not the best player on the team, I think that's where you can rise your weaknesses. Of being a better teammate. It's because not every player is going to be a star for every team. You have to be able to play your role. So, so we push that heavily for the kids who didn't play. We had an extensive off season. We work on strength. I think one of the biggest things we worked on this year was just our hip flexibility and our movements. I know I'm getting kind of specific, but that was one area that we focused on our lifts and our exercises. And then with Coach Kyle and Coach Wes out there, they push their athletes hard, to come in. Because all kids are going to get to a point where their talent takes them so far, and then they need something else. They need to be bigger, they need to be faster, and they need to be stronger. So we just had a huge push of kids of every sport come out, and what's always great is we tell them what you do in a weight room has nothing to do with anyone else. So if someone else lifts more than you, that's great for them. Your achievements is going to solely depend on you. And so if, you could be lifting, I could lift less than you, but this week I went up 10 pounds, but you only went up 5. Well, that's an achievement for myself. So it's setting goals, and and we tell the kids, set a small goal, but as you knock off small goals, and then an accumulation of small goals is going to turn to a big goal. And I think we're seeing it this year. I think we're seeing kids. I think we're moving better. I mean, we've got the strength to play. Of course, we've got some talent, but I think we're just moving better. Talking to Coach Ratcliffe with his girls volleyball team, he's seen girls that are, they're better this year. Of course, they're better because they're a year older, but hopefully a year in the weight room is going to have a positive result for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's good. It seems like the fine details with you. It's always these fine details. I love that about you. I think a lot of people do. Tell me about scheduling. Obviously, when you're when you're in 8, it's such a unique, task. Tell me about the difficulty of that and how it came about some of these schools that were playing this year.
Well, after we had our all-state meeting in December, and we went with the teams the 10 teams we had last year. And we got down there, and we knew that a couple of them, Fountain Lake, and there's one down Southwest Arkansas, and we knew a couple of them were going to go back to 11-man. But then there were a couple of guys down there that gave me their word that they, and they said, hey, we're staying 8-man. Yeah. One of them said, we're going to stay 8-man if we go 4A. Yeah. But if we go 3A, we're going to go 11-man. So anyway, I don't know, his philosophy.
Sure.
So, but anyway, so we thought we had, more games scheduled. Then all of a sudden, the 11-man schedule comes out, December, whatever, and some teams just made a choice, that hey, that it was better for their program. So that left us a couple holes. One school kind of went late, Genoa Central, and then they had 2 coaching changes, and they had a mass wait, but and then they cleared. So I think. We got out early. We found, there's the other league in Arkansas. They had not had their scheduled meeting, but we threw it out there that we're blocked these, for this month. But anyone who wants to play, just call us. And so we, Brinkley, Coach Mosley, I love him to death. Yeah. He called, and then we found another conference, which is where we'll get 2 games from. We'll open next week at Lee Academy, and then in September 20th we'll go to Tunica. Tunica, both those teams in the last 3 years, Lee Academy and Tunica, both won the state championship. And out of that, I think that's a 12-team conference. It's a big conference. Yeah. So we got Lee on film, and yeah, they're big, and boy, they got a real good quarterback. So schedules, and then one just fell in our lap this summer. When Genoa went out, we had an opening on October 11th, and then Dermot had called. Dermot just sent something out on a post that they need a game. I called the coach. I go, and he didn't have it, and he goes, Coach, it's October 11th. And I was like, oh, no way. And I checked real quick, texted coaches. They said, October 11th, we're open. So we agreed to Dermot. I just want the kids to play. I want them, to get games. It is a little bit more difficult, being in this class 3 and 4A. Sure. But our administration support me, in everything in our schedule. I know we have to travel a little bit. I'd rather travel a little bit than not have a game at all.
Amen. Yeah, no kidding. And gosh, you could have got a few cupcakes in there, and you got this Lee Academy and Tunica Academy. And goodness. But that's a good segue, though. So there is another whatever you want to call it, league, conference, whatever. Is there any maybe thoughts down the road if we're still in a situation about possibly joining like a league like that or a conference? Is that even possible? Is it even a thought process? I know a lot of travel, obviously.
Yeah, no, because that conference is it is separated from AAA. Okay. It's a conference of private schools is what it is. Oh, okay. They're out of Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, and in fact, I think they reach right there to the northwestern edge of Louisiana. Oh, wow. So it's because we had offered a game. We were looking at a game with Marvell Academy, and they were in that league, and they couldn't make it fit. So we're just kind of focused on the ones. I know that Tunica, just because it's close, and hopefully, Coach Holcomb is at Tunica. Coach Smith is over at Lee Academy, and I hope I can make a relationship with these guys that we can correspond games, and then if there are teams, you know, that are closer to us and things like that, they say, hey, we'll go play Corning, you know, and get it in a 2-year cycle.
No, that'd be great. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, it's always about relationships and getting that started. And it sounds like you did that this year. Man, I'm gonna tell you, last year, I knew we had a chance to be good. I didn't know how good. There were so many things that just shocked me, and I shouldn't have been because But one of the things was Seth Smith was unbelievable. I mean, love the kid, love the family. Just didn't know he had an arm like that. I mean, did you see that coming before the season started?
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw it early. You know, my first year here, I think it was his freshman year. You know, and he was growing into his body.
Sure.
You know, but the thing about you knew about Seth is he comes from a football family. You know, it wasn't going to be hard. I mean, the conversation I had with him yesterday, our game plan is in, and you know, and I always go through to make sure he's comfortable with it. And you know, usually when you talk to kids, you know, they're sitting there saying yes, yes, yes. You know, and so it's like, well, I think if we do it this way, we can do it this way. And I'm like, and that's what you want. You know,
Yeah.
you have so with Seth, I think you have a different level of conversation because look who Grandpa is.
Sure.
You know, and come from that family. He is literally, when I say this, he is literally like having another coach on the field. He can get every player on offense in position, and he knows the job of everyone on offense, which that's what you want out of your quarterback.
I was going to say that's perfect for a quarterback. That's what you want. You want that leader. Speaking of leaders, okay. So there's all kinds of different ways as a player to lead the team, you know, by example, in practice or maybe outside of it. But there's also the vocal leaders. Is there a vocal leader on this team that kind of stands out from that perspective?
You know, yeah. I mean, Jacob's always running his mouth. You know, so. But no, I think Seth Green probably has the ear of the team, and you know, and he's not a rah-rah guy. He's pretty. Let's get the job done, and you better get the job done. You know, and if not, you're gonna have to answer Seth. Yeah, you know, I think he's just man. He's so versatile and you know, just. I count my blessings because I have Seth Green and someone else doesn't.
Seth is a good kid.
Yes, you know, this group, and I think like last year's seniors group, when you know the old coaching cliche that they're better people than they are football players. You know, that's what it is. You know, you can have different conversations with them, and you know they understand. These seniors understand that they've got 12 weeks left.
Yeah,
you know, and you know, and like I told them the opening Monday, I said. All of us, our time is limited on the Corning football train. Some of us will get off that train earlier, some of us later. But seniors, we know when we definitely know when your time is. You know, it'll be on November 1st. So I don't think they're going to take anything lightly or anyone lightly or preparation or this experience.
How's after last year's outstanding season and all? Do we have more kids come out this year?
Our number's about the same. You know, as far as the senior high, I think we're sitting there at 24, 25 again. Our junior high, we knew the numbers were, you know, we're going to be good with junior high, and that's, you know, and so we're our 7, 8, and 9. I think we're at 39. You know, so somewhere there. So hopefully we can keep those. Yep, we can keep those numbers up. You know, we have a couple small classes. You know, a small class in the sense of just the classes within the school.
Sure. Yeah.
And so then if you divide that into your boys, you know, it even gets less, and they usually take 10 to 15% or what's going to play football. So we're about to set the exact same number.
Isn't it isn't the junior class? That's a pretty small class.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So, yeah, I thought so. It seemed like we only.
But the sophomore class is bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, and for our numbers, I think we have 8 or 9 out for football within our sophomore class.
That's really good.
And if we can get, you know, my target number is 10 each class.
Sure.
If I can keep, you know, somewhere, you know, and I'll, you know, go 9 to 11 is the range. I think we can, you know, we can hold our numbers well then.
That's awesome. Man, if I'm an opposing quarterback that's playing and Corning's on the schedule, man, I am nervous. Watching that defensive line last year was so much fun. I mean, I don't know how they get any better than they were last year, but that's scary to even think about. How fun is that coaching the D-line like that?
Well, Coach Bride just coached our D-line, and I said, listen, let's make this easy. Let's just don't coach them. Just see ball, get ball. You know, what's real fun about them is they're very, very competitive with each other.
Okay.
And it's almost, going off you about the quarterback and not disrespecting any offensive line because we don't know, but they actually will say, let's race to the quarterback, and and they don't care who's in front of them or what's in front of them. But it's 4 seniors, that last year, they went through a little bit of growing pains, but there are 4 seniors that are ready to play. And, I've learned through the years that if your defensive line is pretty good and you can hurt teams, and shutting down a run, I think we're going to be okay. Back in our defense still going to have to play, but we've got 4 guys, and we got some young kids coming too. We got a couple kids that'll figure into the rotation, to give those guys a spell and an experience. And I don't see our production dropping at all when we put those kids in there.
Yeah, I think we got some kids. You mentioned earlier, very talented kids. I mean, we got a kid like Peyton Cartwright coming at you from the end, and Moose Cox. These guys, they can move. They're quick. They're strong too.
Yes.
Holy smokes! That just speaks obviously to the weight room, what you guys have been doing obviously in the off season as well. Man, we're excited. Everyone's excited. We can't wait. Does this time of year ever get old for you, leading up to football season?
Well, no. I mean, the hot days and stuff like that, I think wears on you. But then now you recognize that this morning you're 1 week out.
Mm-hmm.
I think as a head coach, you start to panic.
That's normal, right?
Yeah. You start getting those pregame jitters. And I tell my wife, she goes, "How long do you have left?" And I said, when I stopped getting the pregame jitters is when it's time to go. And this morning I woke up as nervous as a cat on tin roof. I was just, yesterday it was hot, so we had to go inside. And I think, knock on wood, I think we had our best practice, our best mental practice of the year. Nothing physical about it because we couldn't hit, but our game plan's in. Now it's just, let's just sharpen it up. And by that senior leadership that we discussed, those kids were focused yesterday.
I'm glad you mentioned that. This is a little bit off topic, but while you mentioned it, a lot of people don't understand, well, why are they practicing inside or why are they not? Can you explain that just to a fan that maybe doesn't know how that works in Arkansas?
Yeah, and my first year here, I went to had to go down to Conway to a AAA conference. And I'll tell you this, coming out of Missouri to Arkansas, and not in no way comparing, but in Missouri, all it is the heat index. If the heat index is over 105, you can't practice, which is it's pretty simple, but the heat index can change miles away. I think AAA here, in the scientific background they did, every school was given a wet bulb. Mm-hmm. And this wet bulb, it factors in 8 or 9 other factors. It factors in wind, angle of the sun, humidity, all that, and it builds it into a formula then. And on the wet bulb, if the wet bulb ever goes above 92.0, it's not 92 is not the temperature. It's all of those factors.
Rating or what?
Yes, yeah, it's that rating number. If that number ever goes above 92, then it'll go black. And if it goes black, you were off the field. And it's pretty simple. And I mean, there is no guesswork. There is no, well, how is the heat index 106 here, but it's 103 down the road, and those guys are able to practice. So because with that wet bulb, if it's above 92 here, it's going to be above probably 92, 100 miles away. Yeah. So it takes all the guesswork out of it. And I think AAA, and I've told some of my guys that I've coached with in Missouri, I said, you guys really need to look at this because AAA really did their homework and their presentation was outstanding. And it takes everything off the coach. There is you do it this way. There is no gray area.
Has that happened? You've been in the middle of practice and boom, it's too hot.
Oh yes, yeah. And we'll always put it out about 30 minutes before practice. So because it takes about 8 or 9 minutes for it to warm up. But like yesterday, going into practice, it was like 30 minutes before it was reading 91.8, 91, and then all of a sudden 30 minutes later it was 94s. And I talked to Coach Hendricks yesterday. He was saying his didn't think working, so I took a picture of ours and I sent it over. And so, he did the same thing that we did.
That's awesome, and it's great that the AAA has that.
Yes.
Because like I said, it takes liability off you, and there's no gray areas. It's like a black and white ordeal. So that's really cool. And I'm assuming you said they hand those out to every school.
Yes. And it's I want to say law, but it is it's an Arkansas mandate. And then if you want, You can, in fact, connect to Bluetooth. You can print it off. You can have a piece of paper there. So if someone ever questions, you can say, well, on this date, this is what.
Oh, yeah. Kind of cover.
Yep.
Yeah, I got you. You've had a little time since this has happened, maybe to reflect, but Hall of Fame coaching, have you had time to really think about that and kind of and what that means to you now as it's maybe a little bit further away?
Yeah, you're old. So, no, well, it's been, as you said earlier, it's the relationships, you know. My wife the other day, we were talking about it, and I said, I don't remember a whole lot of scores. 2 years ago, we had the state championship team in 2002.
Yeah.
We had that reunion, and what a great group of kids. And you knew, and I knew 20-something years ago what these guys were going to be. Sure enough, they come back as CEOs, they come back as business owners, they come back as lawyers, businessmen. They're bringing up their families and and stuff like that. And so I think that's what you focus on. It was to get a Hall of Fame. It's a true honor. But and I'll tell you this: all the guys in the Hall of Fame, including Farrell Sheldon, we're there because we have a lot of talent. Sure. Now, I'll tell you that. I had some dudes that could go.
Yeah.
So it was, please understand it. There were some Friday nights it wasn't real hard with those guys. But on the other hand, they come back and they tell the lessons they learned from their teammates and the coaches, able to joke around. So that's when I think about that, I just think about the relationship piece of it.
Yeah. I've had coaches tell me before that it's possible to overcoach, actually.
Oh.
And sometimes when you've got those dudes, like you're saying, kind of like the D-line, just let them go, man. That's interesting.
Great story. We had a player, Maurice Alexander, who was drafted a 4th round of the Rams in the 2014.
Wow.
Maurice was an athlete like I have never seen before. We put him at outside linebacker. It was terrible. And I'm like, how is a great athlete? And so then we had an offensive tackle going to SEMO that year, and we said, well, let's just do one-on-one blocking. And
sure. Maurice
jumps out there, and again, this is a 1AA offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Maurice beats him. And we're like, what? Maurice beats him again. Now Maurice weighs 180 pounds. So we're like, you can't play outside linebacker. Well, let's just try him at D-line. And to say the rest is history, we broke the Missouri State record for sacks.
Yeah.
And I literally said, do not coach him. We just said, Maurice, see ball, get ball.
Make sure he gets to the game.
We were in a playoff game that year against a real good, highest scoring offense in Missouri that year, and we put him at nose guard. We switched positions, put him at nose guard. One of my D tackles come out. The coach, the center's crying out there.
Oh my
and I go, and I laughed. He goes, no, seriously, coach, he's crying. He goes, Maurice keeps talking to him, and Maurice had 6 sacks. I never forget his sack. He had 6 sacks for a net loss minus of 107 yards.
Holy
so, and when I say we didn't coach him, we didn't coach him.
Get back.
Yes, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. Coach, I appreciate you coming in. We're having to record this and upload it later, but I really appreciate you working with us this morning through our issues too. So you're always good to us. We can't wait for the season to start, man. You brought back a pride and passion to the football program, it seems like, and everyone's been talking about it. Last year. I didn't even go there with any questions. But I think that's going to make the kids even hungrier, though, the way the season ended. And honestly, to even get to that point, first year of 8-man football, we didn't know what to expect. And honestly, Mountain View, I don't think had they even trailed. They didn't lose a game. Did they even trail until they played us?
No.
Yeah. So honestly, that was incredible enough. But I really appreciate what you've done. Seeing the crowd at Mountain View last year. Oh man, that was neat. That was really, really neat, and I credit you for a lot of that, and we really, really appreciate you. Is there anything you want to say before you get off?
No, I just please come out next Friday and make the drive with us. I know that I truly appreciate everything that the Corning community has done for the kids. The focus is on the kids. As I said earlier, we don't talk about winning. We talk about the process and most importantly the high character of these kids. And so it's a blessing to coach them. So we'll get started next Friday night, 7 down at the Academy.
That's right. That's awesome. So yeah, exactly. So 7 o'clock, because obviously during the season we're going to have some junior high games that will start at the time. So 7 o'clock Friday. Lee Academy, very good looking team. So that'll be interesting. And that's something else too. I don't know anything about Lee Academy's coach. I know enough about you. I don't feel like that's going to be a scrimmage game for either team. I feel like both teams are going to go in there and go at it hard. It's going to feel like a state championship game, the first game of the year, I'm sure. So that's going to be exciting. So, yeah, if y'all can get out there, please get out there Friday at 7 o'clock. Marion, Arkansas, correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good. That's Coach Shelton, head coach of the Corning Bobcats. We've got Drew Radcliffe next. He's already here, and we'll be with him here in just a minute. You're watching Good Morning Corning. And welcome back to Season 3, Episode number 12 of Good Morning Corning. We're live on location here in the beautiful Oaks downtown. Oaks of NEA downtown here. Lisa Bass's I say wedding venue, but multi-purpose venue. And she was kind enough to allow us to come in here today. We have had all kinds of technical problems, but the good news is we can always record it, upload it later. That's the great news. Hopefully we'll get all those figured out by the time we start streaming some sports. Speaking of sports, we've got another coach here, Coach Drew Radcliffe. Coach, it's good to have you here, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, man, thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. No, we appreciate you. I think, is this the second time we've had you on?
I think this is my first.
Is it?
On the morning show, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Maybe it was then. Okay. Well, welcome to the morning show for the first time. There we go. Okay. So we got some exciting news this year, obviously, with volleyball. We had kind of a trial period. Kind of explain that to people and how that's worked and what's changing this year.
So I know in Arkansas, we once you start a program, you have to go through 2 years of pretty much playing JV, where you don't play in a conference, and that just helps. I think that's their idea of helping programs just get started. And a lot of times you'll see that just start in junior high or elementary, but we started with everybody. So so you got to go through those 2 years, and through those 2 years you're on your own as far as finding games to play and finding teams that want to play you, and teams that don't have a full schedule already because they've scheduled their non-conference games along with their conference games. And so it's kind of up to you, but yeah, you have to go through those 2 years of JV volleyball where it's just purely scrimmage, and then your third year you have the option to enter a conference. So that's what we decided to do.
In our conference, I know we posted the teams, but if you don't mind, can you go through that conference for folks that may not know who all's in our conference?
Yeah, if I can remember them all. Let's see, Piggott, Barton, Palestine Wheatley, Ridgefield, we have Lee, try to think, Kip Delta. I think that might be it. Okay. Is
Riverside in our?
No.
Okay, they're not. Okay.
So we're gone to 2A, and the 2A conferences in like for example basketball are a lot different because not a lot of schools around here have volleyball.
Well, sure.
So our conference is so much different than everybody else's.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people are like, well, how is this, like, just for example, like maybe the more popular sports like football and basketball, they're like, well, how is that team this in football but that in basketball? But there's so many more schools that play basketball than football, so your lines change, and like you said, just like volleyball. So have you seen, like, as far as from our numbers, does it seem like we have decent numbers of kids, of girls that are coming out for volleyball?
I think we have pretty good numbers right now, especially from when we started. I think when we started our first year, I'm wanting to say in the program total, that's 7th grade through senior high. I think we had a little over 30. Now, now this is not now, but when we originally had sign-ups back during school last year, we had 70 girls sign up.
Holy hay bells. 70 kids.
Right now, we've got around 50 in our program.
That's awesome.
7th grade through senior high. So
I think that's really good, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, we've wanted volleyball at Corning for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Presley always wanted to play, but she was in that age group, or being a senior, that we couldn't play because we had played the 2 years. So, but yeah, I mean, Corning's wanted to play volleyball.
I think it's awesome that we've got it. I think it's really neat. I think it's another sport, obviously, but some kids maybe
basketball just isn't quite their thing. Maybe this isn't, but now it's another option for them. And we all know what sports does. It builds character. It builds so much and friendships, bonds as well, which is really, really neat, I think. How has it been coaching it, though? Do you enjoy coaching volleyball, or is it a little more stressful than other sports?
I do. I think it's because I'm the head coach. It's a little more stressful.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning.
Sure.
Along with the girls, and I do enjoy it. I do enjoy coaching girls. It's fun. Our group is we've been blessed with so many girls that are fun to be around and fun to coach, and they listen very well, and I do enjoy it. It's different being a head coach than an assistant because you're making a lot of decisions.
Who's your assistant?
Coach Chris Murray is my assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. And he helps me out and a lot with some of those decisions because he's been a head coach before. So that's helped me. But yeah, I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
I could see that as a blessing, having someone who's been a head coach in other sports before, like Coach Murray. Of course, we all love him to death. I mean, I think that is a good asset. I think it's great of you. Because sometimes, and no offense to people that this happens to, but sometimes people get in that head coaching gig and their head kind of swells, and they're not really listening to anybody. It's their show now, and it sounds like you're really open to anything as far as ideas and help and success. So
I always try to ask. Well, I say ask. I take suggestions very well from our girls.
Okay.
What they think, what's more comfortable for them. Even if it's just how they move on the court. But you'd be surprised probably how many, or you may not be surprised, how many hours I've talked to other coaches in the area, other high school coaches and a couple college coaches that have helped me tremendously.
Do we have any girls that have played volleyball someplace else or ever? I mean, or is it just all strictly just the Corning girls that have never played before?
No, I think none of these girls have ever played. I don't think we have one in our program that's played somewhere else like they're playing here.
Well, that makes obviously your job, of course, mountains harder. But I think that's really mature of you to lean on other people too. Because like I said, I see that a lot, and I think that's awesome, especially. It ain't like you've been doing this for 25 years, 30 years. A younger guy in the game and who's open to that kind of stuff. I think that speaks volumes about you. I think that's awesome, man. I'm glad that that's something that you're doing right now. Tell me this. Okay, so we've gotten the schedule. Saw the schedule the other day, and I appreciate you sending that to us. Okay, so do we know where districts are going to be yet? Because I noticed down there. Look, I don't think it actually had a location or
no.
time.
I don't think I put it on there because I wasn't sure at the time on the dates.
Okay.
I got to recheck.
Okay.
But I think the districts, I believe, is going to be at Lee.
Okay, at Lee this year.
Yeah,
okay.
So you're talking, it's a distance.
It's a distance, yeah. But that's part of it, though, right?
Part of it.
That's part of it, man. And I always find that interesting too. Is some of these games are so far away, and of course, like we said, it's part of it. AAA can't help. They're trying to do the best they can to regionalize this, and that. But man, sometimes you're leaving school early to get to these games. I'm assuming that'll happen at some point this year.
Oh yes.
Which I'm sure the kids probably are okay with that.
Yeah. So we're going to have some trips.
Barton? Because we go to Barton, right? Because they're conference.
Yeah, second game of the season we'll be going to Barton.
Oh, wow.
Which you're talking on a bus, probably close to 3 hours.
Holy smokes.
We go to, of course, we got to go to Lee.
Yeah.
We go to Palestine.
Palestine Wheeling.
Yeah, go to Palestine, and we go to Bald Knob for a non-conference.
Goodness.
So, we got some trips, but we also have plenty of home games this year. So, really, conference-wise, the only games that we have to go that far, you're talking, Palestine and Barton. Okay, we go to Ridgefield for, I believe, conference or non-conference. I've scheduled them twice.
Okay.
But we and then we go to Piggott, which is 30 minutes.
Sure.
So other than that, conference-wise, it's not that bad. You know, you got those two, Palestine and Barton. But other than that, in conference, it's not too bad. Now, next year will be worse, probably. But
Yeah, gnarly. Speaking of home games, are we still playing those at Park, or do you know what the game plan there is?
those will be at Park.
Okay.
Yeah, those will be at Park.
Okay. And we came to stream a game there, and at that time, of course, we had talked about there's this big overhang in the middle,
Yes.
which I know is frustrating for you.
Yes.
Is that down now? I'd
is
heard.
down.
Okay,
It is
very
down.
good, very good.
It's down. That's helped us a ton.
You didn't even ask. You went and told them, didn't you? You're like,
No,
this
I
is
didn't
coming
tell
down
them.
right now.
No, I didn't tell them. No, they were, Mr. Hovis and, our whole administration were gracious enough to help us out with that. And it really has helped a ton because not only our girls were having trouble with it, but girls, the visiting teams that come in were having issues.
Yeah.
And that helped us a ton.
That's a
getting that
blessing
thing down.
there. That is awesome. Go ahead.
What seniors do you have?
We've got Avery Glasgow and Taylor Ingram. We've got 2 seniors this year, and next year we'll have a lot more seniors. But we've got those 2, and Avery is mainly our setter right now, and she can hit as well.
Does she play volleyball like she plays basketball?
She plays very hard.
Lost our audio there somehow, but not sure how, but it definitely went down on us there. Making sure that they can still hear us is the big thing, obviously.
So
Oh,
there we go.
Back.
Yeah, making sure they can hear us was the big thing. But obviously, we want to be able to hear ourselves if we can. Sometimes I don't want to hear my own
Avery
voice.
Glasgow and who?
Avery Glasgow and Taylor Ingram.
Taylor Ingram.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome though that those girls, because have they been playing before?
Yes. Well, yeah. So they played our first year. They've been playing since the beginning.
So then they have actually went through the initial process, and now they're going to get rewarded and actually get to have conference games, stuff
Yes.
like that, which is
Yes. And the juniors that we have this year, actually, when we started the program, they were in 9th grade, but I ended up just playing them as our senior high team and naming them our senior high team, playing them against senior high girls.
Oh, wow.
Just for the following years of
Sure.
experience, and
Sure.
I think that helped them a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm glad that Avery and Taylor get to play in a conference and get to play for more.
sure, 100%.
Now, Drew, do you run the girls? I mean, I don't know what volleyball practice.
Are you talking about like
consists of.
conditioning and
Yeah,
stuff? Oh, okay, gotcha.
We don't do a lot of conditioning,
Yeah.
just because, and this is just me, other coaches do it different. I don't feel like it's not like basketball. You don't have to have the endurance, I don't think, quite like you do in
Yeah,
basketball.
I wouldn't think so either.
A lot of it's reaction time.
Sure.
And a lot of it's just explosiveness,
Right.
those things like that. So, like if we, I don't run, I haven't yet this year, run them a lot for punishment. If we run, it's not very much.
Yeah.
So we do things like burpees. We do a lot of burpees. Those things, wall touches, something to where they're jumping,
Sure.
and pushing.
Yeah.
And we've worked hard this past off season. We've worked very hard, our girls,
That's awesome.
and getting in the weight room and doing that. So, no, as far as conditioning, we don't do a lot.
But and on top of that, though, I mean, AAA only allows so much time, right? Practice time. I mean, you can't just be with them for hours upon hours each week. I mean, so
Right.
there's only so much time you can allot for things, anyways. So I would imagine.
And we got the dead period in the summer,
Yeah.
which is 2 weeks, and then pretty much all of June, I'm full on basketball.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we got a lot of basketball stuff in June, and then as soon as we hit after dead period is over, bam, we're going full on into volleyball, and it's we're every day. So
Yeah.
Now, is volleyball? How long does the volleyball season last?
Usually, let's see, be towards the latter part of August into about mid-October, depending on how far you go. If you go state tournament, you'll probably end up latter part of October.
Will that interfere with? Because I know Avery and Taylor play basketball and stuff, and I'm sure you've got other girls on the team that play basketball. Is that going to interfere with that?
As far as games, no.
No.
It shouldn't.
I know, obviously, us being new into it, there probably won't be a whole lot of expectations, at least from the other schools anyways, for us as far as being competitive in this thing. But do you know much about the other teams? Do you know who maybe might be like the kind of preseason favorite in our conference maybe?
I don't know a ton, but I can tell you that I have watched a couple of them play just on film, and that was last year, kind of when I figured out
Who was going to be. Yeah.
And I watched a little bit. I do think that I would say Piggott is probably a favorite. They're very young and they're very talented. But I will tell you that there are teams, like we played Ridgefield last year in junior high and senior high. We beat them in junior high, and then we competed very well with them in senior high.
Yeah.
And I think there are other teams along with them that we can for sure compete with. And I think, I'm not promising middle of the pack.
Sure,
I'm not
yeah.
promising
Yeah, because
at the top.
you just can't predict these things.
But I will tell people that if you come out to our games, I think you're going to see a lot of competitiveness, and I think you're going to see girls compete, because we've gotten to that point over camp, especially where we are competing. We played with Cotter at Salem, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're varsity. We played their varsity, and we competed with them very well.
That's awesome.
So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Our games are going to be fun to watch, and I think you're going to see a little bit of grit. I think you're going to see some scrappiness. That's one word that I
noticed that when the first year that we played, that it was intimidating to the girls to actually go for the ball. You had a lot of balls that landed in between people because nobody would commit to it. Do you have girls now that will dive for it?
Oh yes, all the time. And we have every team, whether you've had the program for 2 years or 10.
Yeah.
You're going to have those moments.
Sure,
we still have those moments.
Yeah.
Where we look like year one.
Yeah.
But overall, 75-80% of the time, we're where we need to be.
Is on the volleyball court, is like each person got an area that they have to defend, or is it you've got 5 feet around you, or you've got 5, and if it's there.
This saying has gone around, I think, for many volleyball coaches around this area and everywhere. And I just started using it kind of this year. Every ball, if you have a question, every ball is your ball.
I like that.
Every ball is yours.
I like that. It simplifies it too.
I also kind of try to explain it as, if you can get there in 2 steps, then that means you can dive for it and you can get it up.
Okay, I like that. So in 2 steps.
That too. Now that's big steps.
Sure.
But we have, defense, a couple of defenses we run, we run a perimeter defense. We also run a rotational defense. Now, a lot of that depends on where the other team is attacking from. If they're attacking from one side, I've got a couple blockers there, and then I've situated the rest of the girls in a spot or in an area. Now, a lot of that also too is the team's tendencies. Where are they hitting it? Where are they tipping it? Are they hitting it short? Are they hitting it long? That's where that comes to play. So a lot of it's, I would say, mid-game, a lot of tweaks and adjustments. All right, you scoot back a couple steps, and sometimes it could be just a couple steps.
Sure.
That makes the difference. So
yeah.
To answer your question, yes, they do have areas that they have to cover on that. So.
I haven't told you this because I haven't quite fully cemented it yet, but I'm really close. We've got a staffer that's with us that wants to get more involved and wants to eventually do this for a living himself. So we're trying to get him into different spots. And I thought, man, during football season, we have a ton of volunteers for football. It's hard getting those earlier times like tennis or volleyball. And we verbally agreed on a deal. We still got to sign a contract on it, but we very, very possibly may be streaming all the home games for volleyball and tennis this year. So
That's awesome.
I haven't told you that yet because he hadn't signed it yet, but he's agreed to it. So if so, I'm hoping we can get there because I want to get. Well, just like Rich was talking, he's asking questions about. We really don't know enough about volleyball yet as a fan base. I don't think, but I think if we can get it out there more, stream it more, I think that would help people because I have a lot of questions myself. I'm a sports guy, and honestly, I couldn't. If you told me right now to keep score of a volleyball game, I don't know if I would fully know how. I don't even know if I would fully know when it was over.
Do you only score when you're serving? I mean, if you're serving. I don't know.
So like tennis. So okay, yeah, that's a good question. So okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's boil it down for people like us who aren't smart enough to understand volleyball. Can you score if you're not serving?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's how I kind of explain it to our girls, our younger girls for sure. It's just all it is a big game of keep the ball off the floor.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And try to make that other team mess up. Try to make them mess up. If they're serving and we are set up in serve receive, we have formation for when we are receiving the serve.
Okay.
They do what's called rally scoring. So, if they serve and we bump and we set and we kill it over and it lands on their side, that's our point. So we serve now.
Okay.
And so we wrote whenever you serve or whenever you score.
Whenever you score, it's
score after receive. You rotate and then the next server and then you start serving. Now, if you serve and you score, your team scores, you keep serving.
You keep
serving. Yep, until they score. All right, then you don't rotate, but then you get in receive.
Okay.
And then after you're in receive, you score, then you rotate again.
Okay. Now, what are you trying to get to a score of, and is there like sets? Is there like how does that work?
So, in 7th grade, for example, some conferences will do like just a timed game, or some will do best 2 out of 3 sets. Now, each set is played to 25.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the score you're trying to reach there, and you got to win by 2.
Win by 2.
I think I do remember that when we streamed. Yeah.
Got to win by 2, and
You used to do that in ping pong.
That's right. I'm a big ping pong. Yeah.
junior high has to do is best out of 3 sets.
Junior high's best out of 3.
Senior high is best out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I tell you what, you could have some before you know it. You could have some pretty long games.
I'm telling you, yes.
Especially you got to win by 2 as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You get games that go in after 2 games already, and you go into a senior high game goes into 5 sets, and it's close up to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We witnessed last year at camp at Greene County Tech a couple of great teams. I know it was Wynn and somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But they reached it was just best 2 out of 3 because it was camp. But they were in the last set, and they got up well into the 30s before somebody won.
Holy smokes!
It was So you're
back
talking,
and forth.
Yeah, so it can be some long. It can turn into a long thing.
And that's probably why they allow the team that's receiving or defensive team to score, I guess, because if not, good Lord, it would be. So, okay, let me ask you this. On that schedule, I hadn't even really looked at it, but is every game going to be junior high, senior high at least, maybe mixed in with 7th, or is it going to be
that's the plan.
Okay, that's the plan. Okay.
Yeah, especially conference. So
okay.
Every conference game should be junior high and senior high for sure.
Okay.
Now, I think junior high's got a tournament on the schedule at Hoxie where it's just them, and I think senior high's got a tournament at Cave City, which is just them.
Okay.
And we've got, I think, 1 or 2 others, like we play Southland, Missouri. I think they've just got senior high. We play Nietzsche, who just has senior high.
Yeah.
So that'll be just senior high games. But for the most part, 90% of it will be junior high. And we got a lot of 7th grade games this year too.
That's good. So. That's good. Will 7th grade be played separate of those games, or you try to get them in before the junior high game, before the senior high game?
Yes, that'll how it will work. They'll play right before junior high.
Okay, very good. before this year, I would imagine was it kind of hard getting games because you were a team that essentially wasn't in a. Because does that even really count for them if they beat you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't count
Yeah.
towards our record.
Yeah.
So it was tough because, that first year, let's see, I'm trying to think. I got hired in April. And, by that time, teams they've already got their schedules made.
sure, yeah.
And, we're well into the summer, and I'm scratching and clawing trying to find people to play us. And luckily, I think Piggott played us a couple times. Donovan played us once or twice.
Yeah.
But other than that, we had like 4 or 5 games. We were practicing we practiced them to death. I mean, because our summer schedule was the same as it is now. We practiced every day almost after dead period. So it was a lot of practice and not a lot of reward.
Yeah.
And that was tough, but also it was new and it was something fresh.
So that
and
probably helped.
So
Yeah.
that did help a lot, and we tried to have as much fun as we could with it.
I think it speaks volumes about the first few sets of girls that came out to play, though. Like you said, there's a lot of
Yes.
there's a lot of practice, but there's not really any reward there.
Yes.
That's impressive.
And last year we had a senior, Bree Castro, that played her 2 years and never got to play in a conference.
Yeah.
Never, just
That's
played
awesome.
because she wanted to play.
Right.
And I admired that.
Paving the road, setting an example. That's awesome. I mean, you got to have that kind of stuff. Speaking of paving the road, who kind of paved that road for you when you were younger? It seems like all of us when we're younger kind of have role models that kind of mold us into who we are and who do we end up being, whether it's the coaching side of it or just who you are. Who was kind of your role model growing up?
I can tell you, I can name several people. I'll tell you first and foremost, my mother.
Yeah.
She is, the things she's done for me, we'd be here for 10 hours if I tried to list it. I tell you who really got me interested in education was Dustin Eddington.
Okay.
I had him as a history teacher.
Yeah.
And he was my baseball coach for a few years.
Yeah.
And I loved how passionate he was about what he did. And then you think, coaches here, Coach Kyle, that was our head baseball coach, my basketball coach in junior high. He was huge in that as well. I've learned a lot from him. Coach Murray, who was my coach.
Yeah.
So coaches that I'm coaching with now that coached me.
That's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've
And they
learned
have
a
more
lot
hair
from
than you.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is that hereditary or is that your style there?
No, he chose this. You know that.
It's a little bit of both. In college, I learned it was okay. It's really going.
Yeah.
And so after college, I was just like, I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
and see.
yeah.
So everybody's used to it now. So
Well, no, it's a good look because I want to say I couldn't do it because I have a really weird, odd-shaped, big head. If I went bald, I think my wife would leave me. I really do, and I'd probably scare myself in the mirror every morning.
Hey, God only made a few perfect heads. The rest of them he covered up with hair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I like that.
Are you are you a graduate of Corning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Graduated.
You
in
didn't
17.
you didn't go to Biggers at all?
Well, I did up until first grade. My first year here was in second grade.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. I didn't know when they closed or when we consolidated or whatever.
So 04, 05,
I'm
something
wanting
like
to
it.
say
Somewhere in that.
05 or
Yeah.
06,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Somewhere around there. All right. So we went past our slot. That's okay. Before we get off here, is there anything that you would like to say or any shout outs you'd like to give out before you get off?
Shout out to our girls, our coaches at Corning. Shout out to our whole staff. I feel like we do very well at working together. Shout out to our admin for allowing us to do this, allowing us, being gracious enough to make this easy as it can be for us starting the program.
Yeah.
Come out to our games,
Yes.
everybody. if you're
Yes.
listening. It's going to be fun. It's going to be we're going to have more games this year, but it's going to fly by. So
Yeah.
catch one of those home games and
Come out and support us.
Yeah, grab your luggage and travel 3 hours to come see us.
That's right. That's right. Oh, hey, I meant to ask this, and I can't for some reason. I'm getting older. My memory's awful. Do we have concession at our home? Our
Yes.
home. We do. Okay, I meant to ask that, but okay, so we do. So yeah, come get you some food, have a good time, watch a sport that maybe we're not all familiar with that we can get familiar with. I mean, honestly, the time we streamed, we had a good time over there watching that. That was pretty fun.
I enjoyed watching it on the Olympics and stuff.
Yeah, I
watching the
mean,
girls,
I
yeah.
think it's an exciting sport to watch for sure. And now that we're in a conference, it's legit now. There's going to be standings. It's going to mean a whole lot more. So that's Coach Drew Ratcliffe, Corning Bobcat volleyball coach. And this is Good Morning Corning. We'll be back with our next guest coming soon.
We're back, season 3. Good morning, Corning.
Yeah.
Look who we've got now.
Yeah, our next interviewee. First of all, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Obviously, you had to move some things around there at the school to get here. We promised we didn't confiscate or pull up in the van with ski mask on or anything, and we did make sure it was okay, and we got clear. But we're hoping everything's good back there. They're not running wild, hopefully. Obviously, we know who you are, but for those that maybe they don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing here at Corning High School as well.
My name is Christina Swint, and I actually grew up in Corning. My family is from here. I have only lived away from here while I was in college, and for the 3 years that I taught down by Little Rock at a school called Lone Oak. I married the hometown boy and brought him home with me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Way to go on that, too, by the way.
You didn't even throw the name Patterson in there. I thought you would.
Well, I figure most people know the name Patterson.
They do.
I think my mom is a living legend there for how long she
Oh,
taught
she's
there.
by far. Honestly, this is. And I know we joke a lot here, but this is not a joke. I credit her a lot for me even doing stuff like this. I really do
yeah.
because in that class I had with her, a lot of people that knew me when I was younger, I was actually really shy. Really, really shy. And then I think when I started opening up, I feel like was in her class. I really do. Because she was always so supportive of me, and I was a little nervous, I'll be honest with you, at that age, getting up there and speaking in front of people. But that class really, that really helped a lot. And
Hey, her dad he's a genius. I think he's one of the smartest guys I know.
he's a lot smarter than us, I can tell you that. That don't take a whole lot, though. So, oh, goodness. Okay, so go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you started off. You started off.
Tell us about the swim team.
Corning swim team started, we started with our first practices at the end of June after the pool opened.
Okay.
We were some of the first kiddos in the water. We were the first kiddos in the water daily at 8 a.m. It's a little cold some mornings.
I bet.
Sure, yeah.
And those kiddos practiced at least an hour a day, sometimes an hour and a half a day. We did 5 weeks worth of practice before our finals week. We did super finals at Pocahontas at the end of the summer.
Holy cow, so 5 weeks of practice.
So do you swim the length of the pool or the side to side?
We did
or
a
what do you
little
do?
of both because, as you know, the shallow end is about 2 feet deep.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
that's kind of hard to.
it's great for lessons,
Yeah.
but a little hard for our flip turns that we do in the water for our long distance swimmers. And so we did quite a bit of going in on the deep end and swimming to the shallow and getting out and walking around. And then we did quite a bit of going back and forth in the deep end so that they could practice turns and get used to swimming without touching the bottom because we didn't want them to stand
Right.
up during a swim meet because that's a DQ.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know this. This is all new to us.
Cannot
Okay.
stand up on the bottom.
Okay.
So they turn in the shallow end at the Pocahontas pool. It's about 4 feet deep. But turning in a 2 foot deep is a little challenging even for our more experienced swimmer that we had this
for
summer.
Anybody, yeah.
So when we were doing that, we were just touching the wall, turning around and going back. We did a lot of practicing in the deep end, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I would tell them, whatever you do in the deep end, we have to do it 4 times the amount so that we're getting what we would have 1 time at Pocahontas.
So, okay. So swimming, honestly, isn't a whole lot different than other sports. You're actually practicing a lot more than you are putting into it, right? I mean,
Only your coach gets onto you while you're breathing.
that's okay. That makes it tough. That makes it really tough, yeah. Okay, so let's go back. Take me back. How did this all come about? Like, how did they approach you? Is this something that you volunteered to say, hey, I'd love to do this? Or was this something maybe that just the community got together and made happen?
You've done
During-
it. Didn't you do it before?
I've been helping at Pocahontas for a few
I thought
years.
so.
Okay.
During COVID, life shut down, sports shut down.
Sure.
And they were telling us that COVID was affecting people's lungs. Well, Charlie and I have severe asthma. And
Okay.
so I was looking for anything that I could do to help strengthen our lungs to prepare for that.
Okay.
And so all 3 boys were tired of being in the house. They were tired of fishing. We spent a lot of time on fishing boats.
Hey, even fishing gets old eventually. Even fishing, yeah.
It did. Well, months worth of it. They were just tired of it, and so
Yeah.
they had begged for a couple years to sign up for swimming, all of them, and especially John Ethan, because his friend Stanley was a swimmer,
Okay.
and the Seagraves, and so I said, all right, well, we'll try it. Can't hurt. They were going to have it in Corning, and so we went and tried out at the Corning pool, and then they had to shut everything down again
Yeah.
because of a COVID outbreak. Well, we'd already tried out and made the team, all of them, all 3 boys.
Oh no. So
So we transferred
so
to
y'all-
Pocahontas.
so we had a team. Oh wow, and then it got. Oh man.
Yes. So I don't even think we got to do our first practice here that summer. And they transferred us to
that's tough.
Pocahontas. That was our options.
Yeah.
And they were very nice. They would
Yeah.
give us our money that we'd invested in being on the team back, or we could transfer. Well, there wasn't anything else going on for the kids at that time.
Yeah.
So we transferred to Pocahontas, and we did our long COVID distancing
Sure,
swimming.
yeah.
And we did a lot of practicing in the outdoor pools in Pocahontas so they could divide the groups up and keep distance between us. And when you have a whole bunch of swimmers Charlie's age, because he was about 7 at that time, 7
Yeah.
to 9, in a shallow pool learning to swim, I wasn't driving from Corning. I wasn't going to just leave all 3 of my children there on the poor coaches. And so
Yeah.
I would stand and walk around the shallow pool helping watch the little kids with the assistant coaches there. And so I was learning some things, and Charlie was, going home to Mimi's above ground pool and practicing everything he knew because he's a fish and he loves the water.
Yeah.
And we had started going to where they would practice and I would swim because I had a family membership at the aquatic center. And the coach was like, oh, you know how to swim? And I was like, yeah, I like it. And I said, believe it or not, I was a near drowning victim when I was little.
Oh wow.
And my niece was a near drowning victim. She was actually airlifted to Children's and was there
Holy
for a few
smokes.
days. And so swimming is pretty near and dear to our hearts and our family. We think
Sure.
everyone should learn to swim. It's kind of a life skill. How many times do you go to a pool and you don't even think about, does this kid know how to swim? But the kids, they don't think about it either.
Sure.
And they'll be like, oh, my friend's standing on the edge. Let me just shove him in.
Yeah.
Well,
You never know. Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah.
And so I started training under Anna Lahan in Pocahontas. She was very nice about letting me train under her, and she's given me so much instruction that every single time I go, I'm like, yes, I'm good. And then I learn something different. I learn something new.
Soaking it in.
Soaking it in. She gives me tons of online resources to help me out. And I've spent a couple years with her and her daughter and some of the assistant coaches that they've had at Pocahontas learning. Going to the swim meets as a mom and then as an assistant coach. Got to go to Junior Olympics as a coach.
That's cool.
That was kind of cool.
Ah, that's really cool.
In Iowa, I was there as a coach. Charlie was there as a swimmer. It was pretty neat.
Heck yeah.
And then this summer, I got my own. I still help him with Pocahontas, but I also got my own group to coach as the head coach for Corning.
That's awesome.
And so the great thing about having her is that anytime I have an issue, I can send her a quick message or call, and she's right there to help me out. So it's been wonderful. And then I've gotten to meet quite a few coaches in our area because our conference is Mountain Home Hurricanes, Harrison Rapids, Jonesboro SWAT, and Paragould Racers, and then Pocahontas Dolphins.
Wow. So
And what are we?
We're Corning Dolphins from
Corning
Pocahontas.
Dolphins.
yeah.
From Pocahontas.
So we're by far the smallest town that's represented, I guess, as far as towns go.
Smallest town, smallest pool.
Okay.
Pool with the least amount of swim team ready swimmers this summer. and the least things to help with that.
How was your turnout?
We
Because I can
had,
remember driving. I would drive by going somewhere, and I could see y'all out there, and it didn't look like you had more
by
than
the
a
time we
handful.
finished, we had 12.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
summer.
good.
So, and Charlie practices coordinating practice at Pocahontas, so he was our kind of leader. And by the end of the summer, their favorite thing was to try and race Charlie. Their goal was to try and keep up with him, and they were
Yeah.
doing pretty good. Well, I gotta admit, they were doing pretty good.
So when you go to a meet,
Mm-hmm.
what are the categories that we have?
We had breaststroke, we had freestyle, we had backstroke. You have fly, you have the IM.
What is fly?
Fly is where you move your arms like this.
So-
That is Charlie's favorite. And
For
you have
some
to
reason,
keep-
I thought that was breaststroke, but I guess it's not.
no.
Okay.
Breaststroke is like this.
It's like the okay.
Fly is Charlie's favorite. As you know, he's into that poultry stuff, and so he always, when he was little, he'd be like, "I can fly like my birds." It was cute.
There you go.
And so Corning's goal this summer, when we started out, we agreed at our coaches meeting in March, our goal was to get them freestyle and backstroke qualified. And we did that.
That's awesome.
And then we
That's
took
awesome.
the kids, because they were starting out, the first swim meet, they had 3 to 6 practices under their belt before we did our first swim meet in Jonesboro.
Goodness.
And so
That's
I told
quick.
them our goal was to get our times, hopefully not DQ. And then the rest of the summer, our goal was time drops. And
Yeah.
so if you'll notice in my last post on the Dolphins page for Corning, I told the kids' names and their time drops, and every single one of them time dropped at finals.
Well, that's good.
That's awesome. That's really.
Andy was the dog paddle champion.
Yeah, I was a big. I didn't want to brag. I was kind of a big
I'll
deal
brag
back
for
in
you.
my day. Yeah, I've got a dog pedal, big old painting. It's beautiful, right above my bedroom bed. But it's. I didn't want to brag about that. So. Yeah. No. I'm an awful swimmer. I'll admit it. Charlie would swim circles around me, and it would be so frustrating because I'm competitive. So I'm not even jumping in the pool with him because I know better. It's like golf. I'm not good at golf. I know better to even do that. So, okay. So.
I would say you probably wouldn't want to drop in the pool with most of my swimmers from this summer.
That's
because
awesome. That's awesome.
I
They
feel
came
I
a
feel the
long way in
challenge.
5 weeks.
No, I don't feel any challenge at all. No, she's just stating and bragging on her kids. She does not challenge me. Please don't challenge me. So what are the age groups for this? Or is there like a separating age group? Is that even a thing with
Most
this?
of our swimmers are ages 5 to 19. Corning had
Holy
kids
smokes.
ages 6 to about 15.
6 to 15.
Yes.
Is there, I'm assuming there's different cutoffs for
Division.
Yes.
each division or category. Yeah.
We have 6 and unders, because we actually have a few 4-year-olds have swum.
Okay.
We had a 4-year-old swimmer at Pocahontas last summer. I know that Jonesboro had one this summer. 6 and under usually get participation ribbons. There isn't really a DQ for them. It's making
Yeah.
sure they can get in the water and they can swim the length of the pool.
Well, yeah, at that age, that's a big accomplishment.
You
Yeah.
know, there might be a few tears along the way, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
our goal
It's
is
good
for them
for
to
'em.
make it. Yes. And then there's the 8 and under events. So
Okay.
those events you can DQ on. All of our stroke and turn officials are very, very nice about it, trying to encourage the kids and not DQing unless they are absolutely certain
That's really
that
good.
it's a DQ.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Then we have the 9-10 grade group. Those are your freestyle backstroke, getting
It's getting pretty serious then.
getting
Yeah.
pretty good at breaststroke and fly, managing not to DQ most of the time.
Yeah.
Then you have your 12 and unders. And for the most part, those kids are learning more flip turns. I mean, you're starting with the younger kids, but they're learning more flip turns, so they're less likely to DQ on that. If they're DQing, it's a little more irregular.
Yeah.
And then you have 14 and unders. That's where you're getting some pretty serious competition. I mean, you're getting serious competition in your 12 and unders, but it's getting more serious. Once you're hitting the 14 and under category, it's usually high school, and there is swim teams for high school. I know.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Okay.
And then, you're hitting that 15 to 19. You're looking at hopefully getting close to high school swim and possibly going strong enough. Hopefully, you can get a scholarship.
You talked
That's
about,
awesome.
You talked about DQing.
Disqualification.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, if you're doing the breaststroke and you break into a fly or something like that, is that
DQ.
automatic
Yep.
DQ? Or I mean, okay.
Yep. And a lot of it is when you go in the water, you can do what we call Aquaman, so you can move your whole body, hands and feet together. You can do one pull with your arms and one kick with your feet before you have to go into the breaststroke. And so if you go in and you do 3
Oh,
Aquaman,
wow.
you're DQ'd right from
Oh,
the start.
okay.
So you don't have to necessarily jump in and start doing that. You get a little bit of leeway to get propulsion
Right.
going and then hit it. Okay, that's interesting.
And then if you notice the lane lines, the lines that divide the pool, they're color coded down through there.
Okay.
So Pocahontas has red and white down through there, but there's a lane line area that has a blue spot. Going off the block, coming from the other end, if you go past that marker, it's a DQ because you stayed under the water too long.
Wow, that's interesting. I never would have thought. I have noticed that, but I didn't know it never registered. Oh wait, that means something for. Okay.
Yes.
I saw him talking about it at the Olympics. Somebody was
Yes.
going, yeah. And
That's
so they
interesting.
got-
My little kids knew, and they started learning this summer. So you need to know that.
So okay,
The flags, they're there so that they know once they see the flags how many strokes they need on backstroke before the flip turn.
wouldn't even thought of that either.
If
That's
not, you're going to
interesting.
bang your head, or you'll
Yeah, that makes sense.
You'll stop too far away to turn to do your flip turn.
And then
if
you
you're
can't. Yeah,
If you're on your tummy for too long, that's a DQ. So
that's really interesting. So okay, is this coaching stuff what you thought it would be, or is it a lot harder than you realized?
I'm glad I have the Pocahontas head coach to take care of a lot of the stress.
Yeah.
I mean, she was doing a lot of the paperwork behind the scenes that I'm supposed to start training on that, but I haven't really had to touch that.
Yeah.
You know, my job was to get there in the mornings, make sure the pool was ready for the kids, get them going, warmed up, go through our lessons that we'd planned together in March, and get them as close to we could on the mark by finals.
Okay, that's a good question too. Then, how does? Of course, we know football's in the fall. This is this time. Swim, like, is there multiple seasons throughout the year, or is it just
Yes.
one season?
Yes, we most of the swim teams start. There are some that go year long. Pocahontas obviously goes year long.
Okay.
Most for summer swim start at the end of May, and there'll be tryouts, and then you do summer swim to the end of July.
Okay.
There's usually 1 week. Hopefully, you can get off on a Saturday, but we have swim meets pretty much every single Saturday in
Wow.
the summertime.
Goodness.
And then, of course, after finals time is Junior Olympics somewhere. And I believe next year it's in Houston.
That's cool.
A lot of our kids are hoping to be able to go to that.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I
And then-
think the year Miley was on the Junior Olympics team from Corning. We went to San Antonio, maybe 1990 or something like that. I could.
That's fun to be able to rotate and do that, though. Yeah.
It's fun to be able to travel.
Yeah.
And kids get to see different things that they never would have seen before.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know, most people think about going to the beach in Florida. I would have never thought about going to the beach
Sure,
in Texas. But
sure.
when Charlie went last time, we went
Yeah.
to see Galveston. I've never
Yeah.
been there before. It was really neat.
Yeah.
We can't wait to go back.
That's
Yeah.
a drive too. Galveston.
And then there's also a break. We kind of take a break in August, but tryouts will be starting pretty soon for Pocahontas again. And we go until Christmas, and then we have a break, and then we do spring.
Okay. So, all right. So tryouts you said are coming up soon
Pretty
for.
soon, Pocahontas.
Okay. So how? Let's say someone whenever we upload this, someone watches it back like, hey, I'm kind of interested. How do they go about?
You go to the website,
Okay. So
Pack
there's a
Dolphins.
Pack Dolphins,
PAC
PAC
Dolphins.
Dolphins and .com .org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's, I guess, assuming the ways to sign up there or register.
There's
Okay.
information about tryouts. We always post it. It's also on our Facebook pages,
Okay.
and I'll make sure that it's posted on the Corning page for everybody.
Okay.
And the pricing is there. You also have to have a membership for the Pocahontas Aquatic Center to swim at the Pocahontas pool.
Okay.
So it's the pricing for the team,
The team and the.
and you have to have a membership.
This is probably a silly question. Forgive my ignorance on the subject, but do you have to have any kind of your own apparel, or is that like
When you
team
come
stuff?
to- when you come to
I know.
tryouts-
That's what I'm saying, though. I don't know. Like,
When you come to tryouts, you just wear some swimsuit, swim trunks.
and that's all I expect. Okay. All right. Okay, very cool.
Speedos aren't allowed in.
They're not? Okay.
Might want to bring a towel.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That helps too. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So this has been kind of neat because I honestly didn't know a thing about this.
We try and raise all the funds for their equipment, practice equipment, from the team. So our kids use. We brought some equipment over from Pocahontas this summer. We used the fins from Pocahontas. We used kickboards from Pocahontas. If they did not have goggles, or they lost them, or they broke, I always had a pile of goggles sitting on the side of the pool for them to use. We have different little things that we use throughout swim team practice, like tennis balls in your hands.
Yeah.
Make sure you're cupping your hands right for swimming. Different things like that we have for them. So, I mean, once you get going, the expense of that competitive swimsuits, might want some better goggles than what you can get dollar
Sure,
store, but just getting going.
Just
Summer
yeah,
team.
just whatever you need to get you going. That's all that matters. Just get started. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think so. I've always been this person that if the more stuff that you can have for kids to do in a community, I don't care what it is, but the more stuff, I think it's wonderful for them because one, they may go over there and start hanging out with someone they never thought. They may become really good friends. They may get inspired to do something else. May keep them away from other things that they shouldn't be doing. There's just so many good. Of course, they're learning things. There's so many positive things there. So I'm so grateful that we have this now for our community. I think that's awesome, and I'm grateful that you're spearheading this thing. God bless you. I don't envy you. That's for sure. But it sounds like you're having fun with it, though.
I have had a blast. My moms and parents that I had there this summer were so supportive. I had an asthma attack the first swim meet.
Oh, no.
Pretty bad.
Oh, no.
And they were right there to help. What do I need? How can I help you?
That's a blessing.
What
to
can I
have.
do to take care of the kids while you take care of yourself, get hydrated and all that? Because it was pretty hot that July 6th, that first swim meet for the Corning kids. And then, I've got the support of the Pocahontas staff. There's no doubt in my mind if I called Harrison or Mountain Home or Jonesboro, I'd have their support.
Yeah.
They've been so nice and helpful at all the swim meets for the past couple of years as I've been learning. And the swim community is like no other, I have to say. When somebody needs something, like if a coach isn't there at the coaches meeting, they're like, hey, this person is here, their assistant coach, they're here with this 60 kids on their own. Can you step over and help? And everyone else has been really good. I mean, they're coaching their own kids, but they're great about stepping over. They're making sure those kids are where they need to be, and they're encouraging them. They're yelling for them.
That's fantastic.
Do
amazing.
you have help?
Oh, yes.
I
I
mean-
definitely have help.
Rich was volunteering if you didn't.
No, but do you have an assistant coach?
We did not have enough kids sign up this summer for assistant coach, but yes, we do have assistant coaches in the making. We were ready and prepared this summer if I'd had a huge amount to add another assistant coach for Corning. We had a backup plan.
Well, good.
So-
Well, good. That's awesome. All right, so I think we're at our time slot. That's why I was looking at his phone. Okay. Before we get off, though, is there anybody that you want to give a shout-out to, and also anything you want to say in closing?
I want to thank the Pocahontas team for trusting me in this and helping me out with it. That group of moms and dads has been amazing. I get texts to check on me throughout the day. I got phone calls to make sure I was, because we weren't seeing each other every single day.
Yeah.
My family has been amazing. Mom stepped up and helped a lot with my son to make sure that he was where he needed to be. And bless my husband's heart,
Okay.
He was trying to sneak in here. He kept telling us not to say. I don't know if you've seen him or not. But yeah.
I hadn't.
Okay.
You got swim coach, you got art teacher, you got 4-H leader for Corning,
Yeah,
and then you got everything Charlie's in, and he's right there with me.
You're like pulling. You don't even know what day it is probably half the time.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. Bless your heart.
don't
Well,
ask me the date. I never know.
Yeah,
I
it's
just know
okay.
this is my day, and this is
okay.
what I have to get done.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing. Well, hey, you're doing great things, and I speak for everyone. Thank you for what you're doing. Hopefully, we can get more attention to this, push more people out there, and have yet another thing for our community as well. So
Tryouts for Corning should be next May.
next
Into
May.
school.
Okay. So into school time, that's when the Corning. Okay, very good. Whenever that comes, we need to bash that all through CSR, Facebook. We'll get it out there, do everything we can. So,
Thank you.
all right, guys,
Christina.
Miss Swint, our swim coach, we appreciate her. Guys, stay with us. It's Good Morning Corning. We've got 2 more guests to go, so stay with us. And we are back here. Good morning, Corning, season number 3, episode number 12, live here at the venue, the Oaks of NEA, downtown. Big thanks to Lisa Bass for allowing us to be here today. That's awesome. Not just a wedding venue, but multi-purpose venue here. She's done a really good job with this place. I seen this place when they first got it.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing what they have done, her and Brian Bass. So big thanks to them. And big thanks to our next interview, a guest speaker here. We appreciate Mr. Shannon Fish jumping on with us. Mr. Fish, how you doing?
Doing okay. How are y'all this morning?
Hey, we're just happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. We were here and on time. That's about all you can ask of us.
Yes.
That's about all you can ask of us. Okay, now I have noticed a big difference in you, man.
Oh, yeah.
Looking great, man. What is going on? How much have you lost? What are you doing to lose this?
Oh, goodness. Just nothing special.
Yeah.
Just watching what I eat, doing some working out.
There you go.
But getting older. So getting older comes,
Yeah.
comes life and
Yeah.
making some decisions that I've been wanting to make. And, of course, a year ago I had a new hip replacement.
Okay.
So that kind of put it in perspective a little bit, too.
Yeah.
So just trying to do some things health-wise.
Man, it's whatever it is, it's working. Keep it up. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. I get into those kicks where I'm gonna, shed a few pounds or do something better.
Right.
It lasts about 3 days.
Well, right. The power, the willpower, is hard.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My wife usually spearheads them. I don't know why. She thinks she's out of shape. She looks great, but anyway, she'll do that, and then so.
Don't weigh 100 pounds.
Trust me, I have tried this, but she'll do these different things, and I'll do them with her because I feel bad if I'm overeating on a greasy cheeseburger and she can't. And man, I don't have that willpower. I don't guess because 2 or 3 days into it, I used to try to bring my lunch and not eat out all the time. It's just so hard for me. I don't know why, but so kudos to you, man.
Well, it's like, we went on vacation here a few weeks ago, and
Yeah.
Of course, how vacation goes, and of course I tend to gain during the summer months, but
Yeah.
But anyway, she said, well, you're going to enjoy yourself. You're not going to be, so I did.
That's
I
good.
did.
You got to every
Yeah,
once in a while, man.
absolutely,
Yeah. That's a reward. That's
Absolutely.
a reward. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So, obviously, you've been with us here at Corning now a little bit, but for those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about you, your background, where you came from, things of that nature.
All right, how much time you got?
That's right. All day, baby. Come on. I don't have anywhere to be.
Because right now I think I'm, we joke around about an admin team, but I'm one of the oldest on out there. But no, just grew up in Mammoth Spring, and that is spring.
Yeah, not with an S.
Not with an S.
I actually learned that the hard
absolutely.
way.
Yes.
We streamed a game over there for Alton, Missouri, against them, and I learned really quick. Some people were bashing me on Facebook, which I guess
That's not saying that there might be a little hill spring here and there, on some
Yeah.
farms, but it is Mammoth Spring. Just
Yeah.
proud of that, and proud to be a ex-Bear and what going to school there, growing up there. Just a lot of good things there still. I try to go back, see mom and dad, and at times.
What year did
just
you graduate?
88.
88.
88.
Class 88, okay.
Yes, yes,
Very
and graduated there.
Wait.
Go back on the weekends.
What sports did you play?
Oh man, no football.
Yeah, I was going to say Mammoth Spring, kind of a smaller school, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're we're a smaller school, still are. We always had that fear that some consolidation type things, but
Sure, yeah.
but it remains. It's strong, and then just I think the geographic location kind of plays a part in that, of course, and it's proud for them to maintain that.
Sure.
A lot of great things going on there at that school.
Yeah.
A lot of friends there still, friends in teaching and administration and things. I get to see those guys once in a while. And we, have some great conversations
That's good.
still. And
That's good.
Actually saw a few of them this summer at some conferences, and we had, just old times.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's always does your heart well.
Yeah.
And grew up just a baseballer, basketballer. I had great coach, great coaches in high school, support from him. That was back in the day where we run through that wall for him.
Sure,
and
yeah.
and I probably still would.
Yeah.
And everything, and it's just different times.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
but still, fishing. I still go back.
Trout
I
fishing.
trout fishing.
Yeah.
I like to get waist deep in my shorts and my sandals.
That's
and,
awesome.
And still, last 2 weekends I've spent time up there with some friends. Actually, I took Greg Mock with me. We went
Oh,
up there
did you? Okay,
last
yeah.
weekend, and had a good time.
That's awesome.
So just
That's kind of the area for that, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I've always heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduated in '88.
Yes.
Okay, so where'd you go from there?
Well, of course, I had wanting to play baseball. Wanted to continue that. I went to ASU. It's fortunate I did play a little fall ball there.
Nice.
And everything, but that kind of, went by the wayside.
What position did you play?
Pitching and catching. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But that turned into some other things. I wasn't, honestly, admit it. I wasn't the most studious person and things, but luckily I met my wife.
That's
and,
good,
And
yeah.
everything there. So, she's pretty much saved me from drowning. but anyway, let the baseball go and went on to other things. And here I am. I didn't know if I'd be a coach, and it just kind of transformed into what you see today. Administration. And if you'd asked me in high school if I ever thought I'd be a principal, no way.
That's never going to happen. Yeah.
Weren't you at Pocahontas?
Yes, I was there as an assistant principal for 8 years, and then head principal at the middle school there at intermediate school at M.D. Williams for 8 years as principal. So I've spent 16 years there. I coached 11 years in Missouri. I went from college to Koshkonong.
Yeah. Blue Jays.
Yeah. Many may not know the Blue Jays, but they know a lot of the women, I'm sure, and men know because a lot of money being spent there at that little store, et cetera. There, with all the decoration things.
Yeah.
But Kosh was good, great place, great people. Spent some good years there.
It's another small school. You talked about Mammoth
It's
Spring and then Kosh.
Yes, little 1A school.
Yeah.
Actually, Jerry Morrow come over there and coached. Towards the end of his, he went on to other things, but met him. Spent 5 years there at Kosh and went coached at West Plains 6 years.
The Zizzers.
The Zizzers. But I was a Mustang, Glenwood Mustang. It's one of the K-8 schools that feeds into the high school.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
There's
saying.
another Corning boy that coaches. Corey Russell.
Yeah. Is he still there?
Yeah, he's
At West Plains? Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it? Okay.
Yeah. But you were at the
Well, they have 5 feeder schools, K-8 schools,
Yeah.
feed in the high school. Of course, one of those is their own. But I was at Glenwood, R8. Great place, great people. West Plains schools, good schools. But had some great times there. So 11 years in Missouri before I came here, and this is actually year 31. So
holy smokes, 31?
Yes.
I didn't think you were that old.
It doesn't look like he could be, man. He looks younger than we do, by far. That's awesome, man. 31 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that begs. Are you looking to hang it up, or do you still feel fresh and good that you've got several years left in you?
No, this job at Corning opened up. That come about, and just blessed to be here. This is started my 4th year here.
Yeah.
I love it here. Smaller school, has its great things.
Sure.
And it does my heart good, especially at the age I am now. I love it here. Love the people. We have great kids, great community, excellent staff, and support groups. The admin team that I'm on, it doesn't get any better, and the school board just, good things going on here, and got
That's
some
good.
good things in the near future, which everybody knows.
Yeah, excited.
Everybody's, the votes came in, and it's just really, really wonderful for the learning community here,
Absolutely.
for Corning in general.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask this. Do you miss coaching?
It has its days. I think once, and if you ask coaches my age or even some of the younger coaches, it's still in you.
Got the itch still then.
And
It's
especially if you've played sports in high school, I think it's there. And I think that's what drove you to be a coach.
Sure.
If they needed you, would you?
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. So
You got-
today, if they call and said, hey, Coach, whatever happens, hey, we need you to fill in. What are you doing it? You think you could do it?
I'm not going to answer.
No comment. Because they're going to listen to this and they're like, hey, we got an idea.
Fish shouldn't do anything. Let's just say, oh, yeah.
I just, I had my own kids that went through sports and things, and you know what you do. You live it through them, but you see things and
Yeah.
you hear things, and just I'm here for the sport and and here to help make things happen if it needs to be. Yeah.
Well, I imagine coaching's probably different nowadays too than it was, back then. It's just such a different world we live in now, and coaches have to worry about so many different things now that maybe they didn't have to back then, and vice versa. But so I would think it would be a little different too, if you've been out of the game for so long, just to jump back in there. I would think, anyways.
It is,
Yeah.
and some people distance themselves once they quit coaching,
Yeah.
never go back,
Yeah.
but and never in administration either,
Yeah.
or teaching. So they, if you become disconnected and were once a coach, I can see maybe where
Sure.
it might leave you a little bit,
Yeah.
not being around it and the atmosphere.
Sounds
Yeah.
like he's available to me.
No.
It does.
Rich is really pushing hard for this to see him on a sideline of some sort.
I don't know what he's pushing, but
Yeah. Well, speaking of pushing, we pushed him out of the press
Yep.
box, and it's ironic we have both of y'all here today. No, how many years did you do it?
26.
Okay, so 26 years, the voice of the Bobcats, Rich Martin. Now, you may be asking, who's going to replace this guy? I'll tell you who. This man right here.
oh
Yeah, you excited about that?
yes,
That's awesome.
yes.
Now, let me ask you this. Did you volunteer this, or did someone say, hey, Fish, you got it. Good luck.
They took me out back and beat me to death.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You're gonna
You're gonna do it.
You're gonna
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
No, it just kind of come about, conversation and.
Well, sure.
And,
You
I'm
filled
not-
in. You filled in when I
little
wasn't
bit.
there, and you
The
did
7th,
some
8th
of the
grade
junior
games.
That's right.
stuff.
Yeah, junior high. So, yeah.
7th,
Yeah,
8th grade
7th
games,
grade.
to give those boys, some recognition
Yeah.
and things, and just to support them, and that's what it's all about,
Amen.
and I
Amen.
I'm pretty much gonna, I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
if asked to do something like that, I'm not afraid of stepping up,
That's good.
if it's just to fill in or whatever
Yeah.
it may be, and. First couple games, they may want to get rid of me. I don't know.
No, hey, listen, here's the thing. I have learned since we started streaming that there are so many people that are not comfortable, A, hearing their own voice, B, getting in front of a microphone. I never realized that until because we get a lot of sponsors. We actually allow them to come on and do this, like what you're doing, and a lot of them don't want to. They're just not comfortable with it. So I think that job that you had for 20-something, almost 30 years, and that you're about to start, I don't think there's just a lot of people that want to jump into that, to be honest with you. So the fact that you did, I think, speaks a lot about you. Because like you said, you want to take care of these kids, make sure they get the spotlight,
Yes.
and I think that's awesome that you're doing that. So I don't know what everyone's going to think when you do it, but I think, hey, I'm happy you're there, and I'm happy we've got it. Because if not, I don't know who else would.
Well,
I don't know who else would do it.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well, they won't
We'll say
fire
that.
you, Fish. They
No,
won't.
Yeah.
They'll love it.
Yeah.
They will.
I hope.
Yeah, we just need you to DJ like in between quarters and do a little karaoke, and if you can do that, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Don't do that.
No, it's like you're saying. Sometimes I don't like hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
It is, and I think it's tough too for people too, and especially when you're up there. I mean, as a PA, you're in front of however many people every Friday night, and we lost his camera, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we sure did. I'm gonna fix that, but let me get that fixed real quick. Hang on, just a second here. You go ahead, Rich.
Well, that may not be a bad thing. No.
No. It just happens.
It happens. Things happen.
So you're elementary, or no? You're not elementary.
Middle
You're
school.
middle school.
Yeah, there at the middle school, 5th grade through 8th grade.
5th through 8th. Okay.
Sorry. That was 100% my fault.
I don't know what to ask you without Andy here.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think that one was. On me there.
Did you have any Miley or Corley, or not Corley, but Miley's kids, Charlie White?
Yes,
Yeah.
had both their kids. And,
Sydney?
Charlie is my daughter's age.
Oh, okay.
Miley's a few years younger. I've got my youngest boy is about a year and a half younger than my daughter. But Cooper, he played baseball with Charlie.
Oh, okay.
And maybe some basketball when Charlie played a little basketball.
What's Cooper doing now?
Cooper is at ASU. He is ag major. Right now, he's internship with Rice Tech and everything, and things are good there. Yeah, things are going pretty good. So
That'd be a good place to be at, I'd imagine. Yeah, that's
and he's fixing to start school. He's fixing to. He doesn't know if he wants to do his master's or not. He's thinking about
Yeah.
it, but
sound like a good position though. Sound like doing things right. That's good.
But I've kept up with Charlie and Miley a little bit there, and some of those kids still.
Yeah.
I get to see them when a lot of the kids now are going to where we go to church at, and get to keep up with what they're doing in athletics at Pocahontas and different things. So
You still live in Pocahontas?
still live in Pocahontas. Yeah, my wife's a preschool teacher there. Has
Okay.
been for years.
How do you like that drive every day, man? That would
Well,
be
it-
old.
Back when, of course, I grew up. Of course, a St. Louis Cardinal fan. Made a lot of trips to St. Louis
Yeah.
through here, and,
Through
and
here,
also
yeah.
to Poplar Bluff. I had relatives live in Poplar Bluff over time, and grew up, driving this or riding. But once had a job over here, of course, you always kind of dreaded to drive over here. Like, oh goodness,
Yeah.
because of this. But hey, it's one of those you just get used to it real quick. It doesn't bother me a bit. It's one of those things where, I got 35 minutes of, just me and God in the highway. You know what I'm saying? And,
Well,
and
I was
it's
going to
just-
say, yeah.
and it give me a chance to get things together for the day. And,
Yeah.
and then, on the way home, it's same thing. But on the way home, it's a lot of semis and
Yeah,
traffic.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so I used to live in Little Rock, and I would work in Benton, Arkansas at Landers Chevrolet. So it's not like a big distance, but man, in those cities, you got a lot of traffic. So it'd take 45, 50 minutes sometimes to get to or from work. And at first, I hated it. But the more I started thinking, if I have a bad day at work, I've got all that time to decompress before I come home, and,
Right.
and I'm either grouchy or whatever. I think that was good for me, especially at an early age, because I was maybe a little immature, probably still am, but I think that was good for me. So I kind of liked that, having that drive, honestly. And I don't know if that's the same with you, but
A little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of decompress and,
yeah.
of course, the can't wait to get home type of thing.
Sure, yeah,
But
yeah.
you're going through lists in your head. I got to do this, got to do that when I
Sure,
get home.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Okay, so you've been at Corning now 4 years,
this
is that
is
right?
my 4th year.
Awesome. So overall, I mean, obviously you've been at a few other schools. Do you like how we run things, our processes, our in and outs of every day? Is it a whole lot different than other schools? Do you see some of that? Obviously, you've been to a few places now.
There are things that are different.
Yeah.
Things that are the same. And you hear, every school's got their thing.
Okay.
But the smaller school has its pluses.
Sure.
Has a lot of benefits too, to just all around.
Yeah.
I love it here. I love this opportunity. I think that God's been good to me, been blessed,
Amen.
and and I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you love it here, and here's how I can tell. Every game night when we have an exciting game, the first text message I get is from Mr. Fish. And that's saying something, because, like you said, you didn't grow up here. You've taught at other places. You've soaked it up, man, and you're living it, and you're truly, I mean, you mean it when you say that you love it here. I truly believe that, because I get passionate stuff from him. Every time we have a really exciting game, he's the first one. And I think that's really cool, man, because, I've not been in that situation. I can't imagine growing up somewhere, then having to go to a different school and, like, all of a sudden be a fan of them and be entrenched in them. But you've done it, and you've done a really good job with that, I really think, anyways. So
Corning and
Well,
Pocahontas used to be a bigger rivalry.
They were.
yeah, at time, yeah.
And
yeah.
and my daughter still played when she was playing ball. Corning was a rival.
Yeah.
It was competitive.
Yeah.
And I'll just say they had some competitive girls groups when my daughter was in school, but
Yeah.
some of her best friends were Corning girls. And the late Hannah Blankenship and,
Sure, yeah,
Katie
yeah.
Clifton and some of those girls, the Russell girl. They were friends, and there was also when they stepped
Sure.
out on the basketball court, it was a different story.
Yeah.
And she's even played with them. Coach Wes Couch, Coach Mayhem. My daughter played with him, a little bit. So, it's kind of one of those things. It's just.
Yep.
You know,
I'm always interested to know, and I always ask everybody this, but it's just because there's people in my life that shaped me. I know that I go back now, and maybe when I was younger I didn't realize it. But who were some people like role models of yours that really shaped you and kind of guided you in the direction you are?
oh man, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just blessed that there were a lot of people, especially when I grew up. You know, I wasn't the greatest teenager.
Yeah.
You know, but there was people there for me. You know, of course, I come from a good family, great family.
Yeah.
But you know, typical, you know, teenager.
Oh, it's yeah.
But you know, I had a coach that, you know, invested in me. You know, some teachers invested in me. You know, they were there. You know, and I could talk to them, and I see one in particular about every time I go home.
Yeah.
You know, she's out in her yard still, and you know, doing yard work and things, and I'll stop and say hello. You know, and we continue that relationship.
That's awesome.
You know, and you know, blessed to have her teacher and friend.
Yeah.
My grandparents, you know, spent a lot of time with them. But you know, just had those teachers and things, and it's just experiences, and you know, just you know, my wife, you know, she's a great support system for me at times, and each other. You
Yeah.
know, we have that relationship, and just blessed.
That's awesome. Do you still follow St. Louis Cardinal baseball?
Still follow them. You know,
Man,
you
last few
you
weeks.
know, well, you know, you know, fair weather fans, you know,
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah.
you know, I grew up since I don't know, I was little, you know, those trips to St. Louis with my
Yeah.
grandpa and things, you know, and just kept that up, you know.
Yeah. The old Busch Stadium.
Busch
The old
Stadium,
Busch
that's what I was
Stadium.
thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my first stadium too, Old Busch Stadium, and of course when you're young and you go into those places that they're all just so massive, and you eat it up really as a youngster. You
Right.
know?
And it's kind of sad, you know, especially in locations like, you know, Corning, and, you know, even back home, Mammoth, you know, some of those kids don't get to experience that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
don't get to experience those big crowds and those
Yeah.
big, you know, they may grow up sports fans or something, but man, when you can take them, you know, we used to take groups of kids at the end of the year, you know, to things like that, you know, just to give them that experience. And you know,
That's actually I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know why that's a really good idea. I don't know if that's something we need to look into implementing something like that with CSR maybe, and getting where we take kids to again. That would be so cool.
The Little League system here in Corning, every year after All Stars, they would take all the Little Leaguers to St. Louis. We'd
Really?
We'd
Wow.
get school buses from the school.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I got to see Roberto Clemente play
Wow.
in St. Louis when the
That's
Pirates
awesome.
came.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that. That would be so cool. I'm glad you brought that up. I never even thought about that. But you're right, because honestly, the only reason why I got to go is because I had a coach, Mr. McCollum, Dave McCollum, who was a basketball coach in Pee Wee, and for whatever reason, he decided to take some of us to a Cardinals game, and it was just, I was like, wow, this is awesome, you know, and I ate it up, you know, and ever since I love doing that. So that would be so cool.
now there may be a bunch of grandpas and dads around here that aren't Cardinals fans, but you know,
Well,
if their kid
yeah.
could experience, just
Yes.
it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
So write that down, Mr. Fish.
No,
We'll coach baseball. And
That's
take
a-
kids
yeah,
to
he's going to
St.
coach.
Louis.
Yeah.
No,
Actually, he may be coaching the Cardinals soon if we
Yeah.
keep sliding like we have here lately. But
I don't know. I think
yeah,
it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like you have those teams when you're coaching, you know, it doesn't matter if you had Bobby Knight there, you know,
it wasn't going to matter. Yeah, it
you
wasn't
know,
going to matter who
not-
was. Yeah,
Not, you know, not downplaying the kids, but
but
anything,
sometimes you
but
either have it or you don't.
even though they give everything to you,
Yeah.
they just don't have it.
They
you
just
know.
don't have it exactly. Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
them, it's not you. It's just one of those things.
exactly.
I've been there, done that.
But many times, I'm sure, probably. Man, we really appreciate you. We're up against our time right now.
Yes.
Really do appreciate you coming out and doing this, and appreciate what you've done here at Corning as well. And then also the PA stuff is going to be awesome. I'm glad that you're doing that. Thank you for stepping up for that as well. Before we get off, we always allow everybody give you an opportunity to give any shout outs or any last words you'd like to mention.
I don't know, just starting this new school year and things, I just just appreciate my staff and the kids and the learning community. You know, that learning community is everybody. You know, everybody, you know, cafeteria workers, custodians, everybody involved, you know, teachers and everything. But, you know, it's about these kids, you know, and if you're not in it for kids, you just don't need to be in it.
Amen.
I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what it's about, you know, and then shout out to their parents and grandparents, especially this day and time, you know, that are trying to raise them and doing different things, you know. And that's another thing coming to a small school. You know, one of the first things I saw, and it was, you know, of course it was athletics, but it was the support that these kids get. And it was just, it seemed like every ball game, everything, and it still is, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, the boys were at Mountain View last year in that championship. It's like the whole town was there.
Yeah.
But if you looked in the stands throughout the season, whether it was basketball or whatever it was, you know, a lot of people show up for these kids. And that's what we're hoping, you know, the support of the school and the teachers is, you know, also there too, I believe, you know, and just kudos and praise out to the support that these kids get.
Amen. That's well said. Job well done with Mr. Shannon Fish there. We appreciate him being here. We got one more guest coming up here very, very soon. You're watching Good Morning Corning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Corning. We've got Mr. McMasters.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Season 3.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and by the way, real quick, another shout out to Lisa Bass. We're down here, downtown Corning, Arkansas, in her venue, the Oaks of NEA. Her and Brian are doing a phenomenal job here with this place, this venue. Not just wedding venue, but multi-purpose venue. I think we've had class reunions in here. We've had different parties, concerts, all kinds of different stuff here. Big thank you to Lisa. I know she'll watch this back. We really appreciate her. Sorry for the technical trouble. It's not live, but we will get it uploaded tonight. But that's not a big deal. What is a big deal, though, is we got this man right here in front of us, Mr. Anthony McMasters. Man, first of all, thanks for doing this. We appreciate you doing this.
Glad to.
You know, anytime we've needed something, you know, basketball, we had like a pep rally type of thing, and we needed someone to speak, and right man for the job. You did a heck of a job, so always stepping up. Speaking of stepping up, you're the new tennis coach, man. Take us through all that, how that kind of came about.
Well, they came to me toward the end of school, right there end of May, and position was available, and asked if I'd be interested, and I said sure. You know, I'd like to get back into it.
Yeah.
So it was an opportunity to do that, and I've enjoyed it so far. We've been practicing about 2 or 3 weeks and getting ready for the season. Starts Monday. We have 3 matches next week.
That's wild. Daggum, that's quick. I didn't realize that. Yeah. I've got a schedule somewhere, but I didn't realize, man, Monday. 19th. So where y'all at Monday?
Jonesboro Monday and Pocahontas Tuesday, and we're here Friday for our first match with CRA.
Yeah.
First home match with CRA.
Boy, life hits you fast. Man, boom, boom.
Yeah, it does.
Goodness. Let me ask you this. Have you had any history playing tennis? Did you play tennis growing up? Did you do
I played a little off and on toward the end of high school, just kind of on my own. I never played on a team, and we played a little in college. Chad may not want me to say this, but me and Chad Hovis played when we went to school together at ASU, and he was pretty hard to keep up with, but we played a little bit. Yeah. We had class together going through coaching.
Now, does Reed play?
No, he don't play.
He doesn't play?
He asked if he should play. I said, no, I wouldn't mess with it. Senior year.
Too far.
Too much to catch up to, you know.
So now, was Chad any good back then?
Oh, Chad could play.
Oh, really?
He could cover the ground and hit some shots.
Wow.
He was tough to keep up with.
We need to get Chad on here.
I know.
He could play. He was good.
That's awesome. So, so you're pretty early into this, so this may not be a fair question yet, but what's the most surprising thing so far about coaching tennis, or that's really kind of shocked you so far early on?
Well, the kids are responsive, and they're ready to play, and you know they're out there getting better every day. So I'm just encouraged when we go to practice, and I think they're encouraged, and they're ready to start playing. So their outlook's good, and we have 3 senior girls that are kind of carrying, and they bring it.
Who are they?
Alyssa Burns and Harley Hooten and Celine Pankey.
Okay, very
seniors.
good.
And so they're excited about playing, and I'm excited to give
How
them
many boys do you have out?
We have 1 returning sophomore, Jake Veneta, and then we have 3 freshmen. Let me see, maybe 4. We have Mox Jordan's a freshman, Jaden Woodard's a freshman, and Danny Ellis is a freshman, and also Max Massey's playing. So we have 4 freshmen
Well,
playing.
last year, what, we have just one boy on the team?
It may have been. I'm not sure. I went to
Well,
one
hey,
match, but I
I
didn't
think Jake
go.
Veneta was the only boy
Yeah.
that played last year.
Well, hey, that's good then. Well, because you never know, like when a coaching change happens, sometimes that's just a little bit of an out for a kid, at that age. I mean, they're like, I'm not going to do it now. We get, I was so used to coach, and now, they're not there. But so that's good. It sounds like they're, like you said, they're responding well, and that's good.
Definitely.
I didn't realize, my goodness, Monday. That's quick. So
You got to play to get better. So tennis
Right.
is something you can't just talk about. And
Sure.
You have to get out there and experience it. So I'm glad they're getting to play.
That's awesome. Okay, so Monday you said Jonesboro, and the first home match is Friday. So next Friday. Okay. The reason I bring that up, and I told Drew Ratcliffe this too, but we've got a guy on staff. We've never actually streamed a tennis game here. We got a guy on staff that we've had a verbal agreement that he wants to get in all the home volleyball and tennis matches this year. Wow. So I'm hoping he can come through for that, because that would be awesome. I would be horrible at commentating tennis. I really don't even know what I'm talking about, but we'll figure something out with that. But obviously the game, it's kind of a pretty fast-paced game, right? I mean,
It is. It's a lot of effort, a lot of short bursts of energy.
Yeah.
And footwork's really important. So, we're trying to emphasize footwork and just putting yourself in a good position and going after a shot,
Yeah. I was telling you before we got on, but man, me and Dad would go play some tennis every once in a while. I don't know how they put all they can into it and keep the ball down. It's just so hard, man. They're just
Years and years of practice.
Yeah.
The people that you see on TV, they've been playing since they were probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think there's so much. I think there's fundamentals to it that I didn't realize either, though. That's important too.
And I didn't realize it until I had the class in college, and we had a professor who's had some knowledge of the game, and she taught us some things that I didn't know of. I've been able to help them a little bit, and they were helped a lot with Coach Williamson and coming on. So we just kind of combined those skills, and they're working on them.
That's awesome.
Really are.
Top spin's really
Yeah,
important.
it is. The follow through is really important.
Right.
It's
Follow
not
through
about
and
how
top
hard you
spin.
swing. It's about how good you execute your follow through.
See, I would have never even thought about that.
Yeah.
That would have never even entered my mind. You how to do whatever, turn the racket when you hit it, whatever it is. But
Right.
I'd imagine positioning, obviously, like you said, footwork, getting into that position to where you can do that, obviously, is important too. Do you have anybody that's like going to help out this year? I don't guess you really. Do you get an assistant in tennis?
No, we
Not
don't
really.
have an assistant.
Okay.
We get out there and get everything set up for a match, and you'll have 3 or 4 matches going at one time. At our home court, we have 4 courts, and they're usually pretty
Okay.
busy courts, during the match. So
Are our courts in good shape?
they're playable.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good. That's a good answer.
They're not new surfaces, and I know the school and the community work really well with other and try to help each other out.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and put that out there. If someone could come in and help out the community and resurface those courts, that'd be great.
Right.
They
Okay.
could use it.
So a good resurfacing. I don't even know what that involves or what that
Me neither.
entails, but
Me neither.
that's interesting. Hey, well, if we have I've learned this about this community. If you ever have a need, and it involves a good cause or kids, usually people rally around that. Usually, so if it needs resurface, heck, we may start looking into that, and try to figure it.
Tennis in Corning is just about a forgotten sport, really. I mean, as far as getting people to come watch and stuff. I mean, I did it all last year. I've done it ever since Presley was playing, but
It's an individual sport,
Right.
and so
Yeah, that's
you
true.
don't have the team you have a tennis team, but they're playing their matches at their own time. So people come and watch when their child's playing, and sometimes they have to leave, and so there may be
Sure.
another match going on. They don't finish watching, but it's an individual sport. And y'all was talking about people you see on TV. A lot of those kids, I think they're homeschooled, and I think
Oh, yeah.
most of their
yeah.
time is spent training.
I spent training in it. Yeah,
And they don't
Yeah.
they don't spend time with classmates.
Well,
and-
see,
and student
when we went
bodies.
to
It's
state
different.
last year for Presley to play, the girls that beat us were. I don't think they went to school as much as they, except for the tennis part of it.
Right. So, but I love the experience of kids being around their classmates, and so
Yeah.
the kids are excited about playing, and I told the kids this yesterday, and I don't know how this will go over, but one of my favorite lines in a sports movie, was on Moneyball, if y'all have seen the
I watched
movie.
Moneyball. Yeah.
And the guy, Billy Bean, says, I hate losing more than I love winning.
Yep.
And so I just kind of threw that out there, but it's not just about winning, but you want to compete and know you left it out there and then go back the next day and pick it back up and just enjoy competing, you know. So
I love competitive coaches, and it sounds like that's what you are. I love that, man. Obviously, there's a bigger picture with it, and you're doing that bigger picture as you're going through it. They're learning so many things and all that. But yeah, man, we want to go out there. We want to compete. We want to win. You know, we're not out there just to make friends or have fun, you know, or waste time, you know. So I really, really like that. Tell me, okay, you probably know. I don't because I haven't been out there. So you have individual matches, and then you have like doubles matches as well.
correct.
Do you have, like, does each match, like, say next Friday, for example, we're having a home match, or will we have individuals and double matches there, or will it just be individuals?
No,
Like
it'll be both.
It'll be both, okay.
You know, some of the players will play both, though.
Oh, okay.
Right.
They may play the number one doubles that CRA brings, and then they'll turn around and play their singles after that.
Oh, wow,
But
okay.
you don't know ahead of time what CRA is bringing, do you?
No,
That-
you
that
kind
was
of
our
set it up
problem.
when you get there.
Yeah, that was our problem
Oh,
last year.
okay.
We had the number one girls doubles, but Pigot's they didn't bring their girls doubles, so our girls didn't get to play
Okay, so
doubles,
it's
or-
kind of a wild card then until
It
oh,
is.
wow,
We
that's interesting.
prepare ahead of time who's going to play what when we get there.
Yeah,
And we have 6 girls total. We have 2 sophomores, Zoe Leonard and Carly Moore, and then we have 1 freshman, Caitlin Hill, and then the 3 seniors. So they'll be playing single. We put, everybody's on the court. We're all playing, and then we'll see who their number one doubles are and their number one singles, and go
Now,
from there.
now, when you go to district or whatever, you've got to specify, don't you?
Yeah,
I mean,
you have to
your
choose.
girls can't play doubles and singles. They have to.
I think they choose.
Yeah, they have to choose.
speaking of districts, maybe it was on the schedule, I just overlooked it. Where is districts this year?
I wouldn't even. begin
Yeah,
to know.
I figure it's going to be at Jonesboro because
Allen
of the
Park,
courts. Yeah,
probably.
at Allen.
Okay.
That's where our Jonesboro matches are at. It's Allen
Yeah.
Park.
Okay.
that's-
That's the. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
That's where it's been for the last.
Well, I mean,
5
it's a
years.
pretty convenient little setup there, I imagine. So, forgive my ignorance. And again, you probably know, but are any of these matches timed? Is there like a timer on anything?
No,
or-
it's one set, I believe.
Okay.
First 1 to 6.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how. I really have to look up and see how they're going to
Yeah.
handle the tiebreakers. But I know when you go to Allen Park, you can have 3 schools show up, and they have the space
yeah.
available, and so that's why we meet there. And
Yeah.
Tuckerman and Cedar Ridge, Riverside, some schools that may not have to travel as far, we meet. It's kind of
Yeah.
centrally located. So
That's not a bad idea, honestly. So, our conference this year, I don't even know. So, if is non-football, are they considering tennis non-football? So, are we 2A now in tennis as
It's
well?
2A, yeah.
It is 2A, okay.
It is.
Do you have? Do you know who all is in our conference this year?
I
then?
looked at it yesterday with Mr. Hampton. I may leave someone out, but I know EPC
Okay.
is in our conference. Cedar Ridge, Riverside, Piggott
Mm-hmm.
is there. CRA's in it, and they're non-football. And I don't know if they're in the basketball or not. But I feel like I'm leaving someone else out that we would meet in Jonesboro. I'm not sure who else is in
Okay. Okay. Well, we get to keep the Piggott rivalry going. That's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
And there is a rivalry there in tennis.
Good.
Yeah, I mean
Good.
that's.
It helps
No,
kids
it's
focus.
not just football,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. We're humans. Like I remember when I was younger, we got a schedule. We'd look and be like, "That's the one." You'd circle it. I mean, it's just. Or if you had a really close game with someone the year before and they got you, you'd always want to. That's it's that little extra motivation, I guess you could say. So far, coaching tennis, I know it's been a short time. I mean, are you really liking it? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I enjoy it, yeah. And I like how the players are trying to improve. They're working on things and trying to get better and learning a bit about the game. And we try to go over situations in practice where create scoring opportunities, put the opponent in a defensive situation, try to make them uncomfortable with their return. And they're learning from that. They're responding to it and picking up some things. So it's
I like that, putting them in certain situations, because then you're not just talking about it and they're hearing it. You're visualizing it and you're doing it. I like that, actually.
Yeah, I try to tell them to have an intent about why they're hitting a shot and how they're approaching the shot. Why are they going to the net? What are they doing? not to sit and watch the ball, to
Right.
get in the middle of the court or position yourself in the court and just try to go from there.
That's really good.
My
That's detailed.
philosophy was with Presley was to put it where they're not.
Right.
That's what I told her every time. I said, don't. You can sit there and hit it to them every time, and they'll hit it back to you.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. But put it where they're not. Make them work.
Right.
Make them run.
I'm
It's
sure
not
it's easier said than done. Yeah, yeah.
It is. And, keeping it low to the net obviously helps.
Oh, yeah.
But as much as anything, it's about making them go get it and have to reposition their shot
Sure.
is important too.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
ahead.
You were first. You were
I was
first.
going to get off the subject
Age
here.
before beauty. You go ahead.
This guy is a baseball player. I mean, that.
I heard he's a heck of a baseball
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
That's what I heard. Not just a baseball player. Heck of a baseball player.
That was his forte in school, wasn't it?
Yeah, I figured it out a little late. Once I did figure it out, I realized I wasn't as good as I had wanted to be or thought I might have been when I was younger. But it ended up benefiting me, and I got some opportunities there, and I was thankful for that and enjoyed that too.
I can remember watching you playing.
Oh, yeah.
You could still play, couldn't you? If they had like a little men's league baseball.
I don't know. That ball it don't move as fast as I want it to anymore. I have to scoot up,
Maybe softball.
Yeah. There you go. There
I
you go.
can't long toss with Reed, and used to when I could throw
Yeah.
with him, and now I have to throw with the wind in my back. Make
That's
him throw in the wind, so we can throw.
That's after 30 minutes of stretching. Yeah. Back to tennis real quick. So does because I know a lot of sports, the AAA kind of mandates or hey, you can only spend so much time with the kids. Is that kind of the same with tennis? You're only allotted so much time for practice and stuff throughout the day?
I don't know, to be honest with you, and I don't know the off-season rules. We try to monitor the temperature. Yesterday was real hot, and we had to wait till about 7 to practice.
Oh, wow.
The AAA regulations, it was just too warm, and we monitored that. So we try to keep a check on that. And I was talking to the kids yesterday, and it's so you work on your individual skills. So in a team sport of basketball, you're working on team defense, and you still have individual skills. And baseball's even longer. It's a 3-hour practice deal.
Yeah.
But tennis, you come in and you're working on your individual stuff, and you play some matches and scrimmage and work on your game stuff, and it gets by a little quicker. Time is not as consuming, and you still get a lot done, I feel like.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that, but you're right. With those other sports and then tennis, I never thought about that, but that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
That's
I've learned a
interesting.
lot in the parallels and the differences just from a few weeks of being around different sports and now tennis. So.
That's awesome, honestly. Now, obviously, if something ever came up down the road as well, is you obviously jumped into tennis. If they ever asked you to do something else, would you be open to other sports as well, coaching?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, good. Then you and Mr. Fish.
That's right. We've already volunteered Fish for the next job opening because he used to coach. So we're going to volunteer you now as well. But I've always thought that's fascinating for people to be able to go into a sport and coach, and maybe they're not as familiar with or whatever, not coached it and done well. I mean, it's possible, obviously, as you get older. But a lot of times you'll see coaches that maybe they didn't even play that sport when they grew up, but they're coaching, they're doing well with it. It's kind of that's always been really intriguing to me, but to see that anyway. So, but a good coach, as far as knowing the game, that's one thing. But getting kids to believe in themselves, I think, is really important, and a good coach seems to do that. And
I remember you have 4 brothers, 3 brothers?
3 brothers and a sister.
3 brothers, right. But I don't remember Carmen playing.
Well, he was older. He was the
Yeah.
oldest, and
Did
he
he
had
play
already
ball?
gotten out of school.
Oh.
He didn't play much in high school when he was growing up. It was a lot bigger setting, and he worked a lot. He worked. He had a couple different jobs, and he excelled in the academic part, the DECA program. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but it's about preparing business readiness, and he excelled in that. In high school, and actually had earned some full scholarship up in Western Michigan or some D1 school through it. And he went into the ministry and chose that path, which was great. But he just had a little bit different focus, a little bit different path.
Speaking of, you're very active in church as well, right?
Yes, I try to be. And I've learned to you learn a lot. You look back on your experiences and learn a lot as a coach, and as just trying to be a better Christian, and that's I try to provide that as an example. And just if I have a chance to comment, try to comment and not just allow them to see how important it is and how it can possibly impact their life if they allow God to work in their lives and in their situation. One thought that's been on my mind, and it's easy for me to jump into this path. And 20 years ago I wouldn't, but now it seems to stay on the front of my brain and my tongue a little bit. But when you can involve kingdom principles into your daily life, then good things will happen. Because,
I like that.
God's kingdom is going to prosper, and when you involve your life in His principles, it can be powerful in your life. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Intertwine them together and use them. Yeah.
That's right.
That's really, really good. Well, I'll say this. I think you're going to do a phenomenal job as coaching. The night that you spoke to the basketball team, I thought, man, this guy's really good. I never heard you publicly speak like that, so I didn't know. But, man, that was impressive. I thought, man, he would make a good coach, and here you are. Go figure. Here you are coaching. So go ahead.
Is Reed your only child? I don't know.
I have a daughter in the 7th grade.
In the 7th. Is she a sports
She
player?
She plays, but it's kind of come and go.
Yeah.
I had to have it. I mean, I had to have a driveway and a ball when I was growing up.
Yeah, I remember that.
and Reed really likes baseball and basketball. And Sloan's a really bright child, and we love her just like Reed, but she's involved in different things.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Got a great heart.
I thought you had another one, but I didn't want to assume or anything, but I didn't know.
She has a great heart. It's amazing to see her thought process
good.
sometimes. It's
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah. It's funny how kids can be so different. It's just so wild. My two, Ty and Emma. Ty wants to play every sport that's invented, and Emma, she couldn't care less, And Ty, I feel like it's funny too, as a parent too. I feel like I can be pretty hard on him, and he'll actually respond well. He honestly he wants you. He handles the criticism better than he does me bragging on him. Emma, if I do that, I think she would just shut down. Yeah. I think she would just. So it's so interesting you mentioned that about your kiddos and how different they are. But I don't know if that's with every parent, or if that's every kid's. But I just always found that so unique and interesting. But man, we really appreciate you coming on. I know we're up against the time limit here. We're 10:30 now, but appreciate you coming on. Appreciate what you're doing, jumping on that with the tennis there. I think that's awesome. I don't envy you. I don't know. I think that would be tough for me to coach tennis, but I'm glad someone's doing it. I'm glad it's you. We always allow folks to give a shout out or maybe get some final words in before they get off here. So give you an opportunity for that.
Just my family, my wife, just supporting me, and we moved back home. She's from Paragould, and just her staying together and staying by my side. And if she'll see this and she may get aggravated, but she gave up a lot for us to leave Texas and come home. I mean,
that's awesome.
She's successful because she's an extremely hard worker, and she had earned the right to be where she was at in Houston, and she laid it down to come back with her family and be around her family. So if I didn't have that in my life, I'd be a wreck. So I just thank God and thank her for just being with me every day. Yeah,
that was well said.
Kid, yeah.
Well said. Well, we appreciate you. Really, really do. Good luck this year. We're going to try to get the home games if we can. I'll get back with you just to verify all that too at some point. That is.
But I'd like to talk to you after the season.
Okay.
Maybe we could get you back and we could talk about what happened this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, we need to plan to do that actually. We'll plan to do that. So that is head tennis coach, Mr. Anthony McMasters on Good Morning Corning. Guys, we'll be back. Me and Rich are going to wrap this day up. Stay with here, Good Morning Corning Season 3, Episode number 12 at the Oaks of NEA downtown. Corning, Arkansas, thanks to Lisa Bass. Andy Earls, Mr. Rich Martin right here. And it is 10:37, Friday, August 16, 2024. I tell you, we had really good time today with the with our guest interviews today, our guest speakers.
Coach Farrell seems really excited.
He does.
Really excited.
I feel like in coaching, you come to an age where things just aren't. You don't have the juice anymore. You know what I mean? Like you don't have the itch, the juice, and
if you don't have a dog in the fight, it's. But
I'm telling you, he is. You can tell he's amped up. Yeah. He's excited for this year, and that excites me because Lord knows we had a good year last year, and if he's that excited before the season starts, that's That's fun. Speaking of football and Coach Shelton, season technically starts next Friday because we'll have a scrimmage game at Lee Academy in Marianna. It starts at 7. So I guess it's just going to be senior high, it sounds like. So no junior high, 7th grade, anything like that. 7 o'clock next Friday at Marianna. And we will be there. It's going to be a scrimmage for us, too. We're getting a bunch of new equipment. Not really upgrading equipment, more like replenishing equipment. But there are a couple of new things that we've got, and we need to tinker with it, and we're not going to have a full staff. So it's going to be a scrimmage for us, too. So you may not hear commentary the whole time. You may see some weird stuff on the screen at times just from us messing around with it. That'll kind of be a scrimmage for us, too, streaming-wise, leading into this year. Obviously, Anthony McMasters was our last speaker here. Their season starts like really soon, here in just a few days. Monday, in fact, is their first match, and that was at Jonesboro, I think he said.
Reed Park.
Reed, there you go. Or no, Allen Park.
Or Allen Park.
Allen Park, yeah. We have already posted the schedules for tennis on our Facebook page. We'll probably redo that. We'll repost it. Make everybody aware they do play very soon. Their first home match is next Friday. So obviously we got a home match next Friday, and we got streaming at Marianna too. I'll have to figure that out actually. Now that I think about it, so that's next Friday. They'll be playing at home 4:30. I think so. They normally start 4:30. So tennis. So if you can get out and watch that, we'd appreciate that. We had Drew Radcliffe, volleyball coach. Exciting this year is because we are finally out of our trial period and we are now into a conference in 2A. So that'll be fun.
That'll be exciting to watch, and they're going to play our home games at the
Park Elementary. Park Elementary Gymnasium. I can't talk this morning. So we'll still have the home games there, and I know he said they got the big thing in the middle there taken down, which is great. So that'll be fun to watch, and we're going to try to get those home matches in as well. We also had Mr. Shannon Fish here as well, who's going to be doing the PA, the job that this guy finally, after almost 30 years, is finally moving on.
He'll do fine.
I think he will.
Oh, I think so too. We had Christina Patterson, or not Patterson,
Swint. Yeah, Christina Patterson Swint. There we go. That was on. She had tackled the swim coach thing here in Corning. It's something new here for Corning. Sign-ups will be at the end of school in May. We'll probably get back with her at some point and really hammer that hard so people know yet another opportunity here for people in Corning. So
PacDolphins.com.
PacDolphins.com. PACDolphins.com.
Go in there and look at it if you want to.
And
see what it consists of.
Yeah. And I think actually she said that Pocahontas is actually doing sign-ups soon for their season. There's different seasons for them.
Right.
So actually, technically, you could actually go on there and sign your kid up to kind of get used to that in this season coming up, and they could, do it at Pocahontas. It's a little bit of a drive, but until May does come around for the signups for Corning, if you wanted to. PACDolphins.com is how you get there. Again, we want to say thank you to Lisa and Brian Bass here, the Oaks of NEA here in downtown Corning. Awesome venue. The only issue that I can think of is a darn cricket back there making noise. I don't know if y'all could hear that.
They were loud.
No, everything else is great here. We appreciate Lisa. She's always so she volunteers anything she can for us, anything that we ever need help with. Always sponsors us, her and Brian both. In fact, when we had our equipment damaged for regionals, sorry, I can't even talk, regionals and softball last year, she was real quick to help out, and so I appreciate her for that. We will start off next Friday. We'll be at Marianna, and I'm going to try to see if I can figure out. I didn't realize our tennis match was that quick, but it is Friday. We may not be able to do that one. I don't know yet. I don't know if he realizes they start that soon. So I need to figure that out. So we may miss that one, but we're going to try. And when I say we've got a staffer that I've made an agreement with that's going to try to get the volleyball and tennis home games as well as try to get districts for both in this year. So it's something new that we'll try.
I think you can do I think you can do the tennis and the volleyball. You won't have commentary, but I think you can do it.
And that's what we talked about. So it's Devin Ross, and Devin isn't comfortable commentating, which is fine. I told him, go set up, keep score, make sure a camera's on there. We'll worry about the rest. You know, if we don't have commentary, so be it. If somebody wants to volunteer to commentary or to commentate, let me know.
So tell me, this Good Morning Corning, who have you got lined up this year?
We got several people that I haven't talked to, but I've got a whole list of names that I have to, I guess, filter through. I wanted to already have these names like called and know who would do what.
Right.
But man, I've been so busy with like the ad video. I tried to make a hype video last night for football. There's some other things I'm working on as well for streaming, and I have not called. Well, actually, I say that. No, I haven't. I don't think I have an agreement yet with any of them, but I've got a little. Some people have a short list. I got a big list.
Right.
Big list of people. I'll send that to you to try to get a hold of. I plan on doing another 5 or 6 of these throughout the year if we can. Of course, depends on schedules and stuff like that. And I want to do them, instead of doing them at the radio station now, we're going to start doing them at different places, different venues in downtown, or not downtown, but in town of Corning, different business places, restaurants, businesses, wherever it may be. Like, I've already called Clay County Electric. May set up at Legacy Equipment, may set up at a couple restaurants, just whatever. I mean, 10 bucks, I don't know, wherever. And then also give them an opportunity to speak about their place as well, give them a time slot on that show. Now, Lisa couldn't be here today. That's why she didn't speak. But
we've pretty much spoken for her.
we've spoken for her. That's right. That's right. And if y'all have any kind of event you want to host here in town, this is a great place to do it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. We've had concerts in here. We've had I've had a class reunion in here.
Weddings.
We've had weddings in here. All kinds of different stuff in here. So really, really neat place. Get a hold of Lisa or her page on Facebook there. She'd love to have you. I know that. Like I said, they support us, so we want to try to get their name out there as much as we can. So, Rich, you have anything that you want to say before you get off? I know we had the technical difficulties. We weren't live, but we are going to get this up probably tonight, if I had to guess. My internet at home should be good enough to get up tonight. Anything you want to say before we...
Stay tuned, and there's more to come.
That's right. Amen. Well, for Old Man Radio, Rich Martin, Colton Ladyman back home, our IT guy from afar, Andy Earls, I want to say good night, God bless, and as always...
Go Cats.